Before we begin the show, we would like to start with a message. Any views or sentiments that are expressed by our guests are not the views of the Tabletop Twats. We would like to put that up front and make that very clear. Additionally, all views and expressions in this show are for comedy purposes and are not real in any way whatsoever.
Nerds International proudly presents...
Coming at you live from a post office in Peckham, it's me, Nick Lambslice.
Me, James Pumpkin.
And me, Harrison Hunt, aka Shitman Shane.
And we are the Tabletop Twats.
Yes! Oh
Ka-ching.
My god, it feels good to be back. But today, ladies and gentlemen, we've got such a special guest on the show, you wouldn't even believe the money we had to spend to get this guy on here. Say hello, Ryan.
Hello, Ryan.
Is that the best you can do?
Your agent promised us a lot more.
Yeah, well, I was booked in for 2 hours. It turns out it's gonna be free, so you're getting a free hour.
That's true. The negotiations obviously didn't work out as well as we thought they would. Sorry to keep you so long.
For those that don't know who Ryan is, I don't blame you because we barely even know who he is.
I don't even know who I am.
He's just a mate of ours. So bear in mind, he's not the best at this, and he's abysmal. He stinks as well. So luckily, this isn't a smell-based podcast.
Yeah. And when we said special, we meant in that way.
Yeah, make of that what you will.
Specials in specially excellent.
He's a special little guy.
Get slightly closer towards the mic, Ryan. Be professional. Don't kick it like you just did as well. So, for those that don't know, this is an RPG podcast all about tabletop RPGs, and today we've got so many segments, you're going to actually shit yourself. We got the feedback side, we got what you've been slaying, we got the main subject, which is Savage Con UK. It's an amazing convention that we all went to. That's why Ryan is here today. And we've got the Chamber of Challenges, the Adventure Calls, Electro Letters, and our award-winning outro. It's going to be good, isn't it, Ryan?
Oh, I can't wait.
the high levels of sarcasm.
The hype is real. I mean, Ryan's one of our biggest fans.
Yeah, I've listened to about 3. But they were all excellent, so well done, guys.
Yeah.
You're on your 4th now.
Yeah, that's
You
it.
absolute cunt. Right, and with that, let's get on to the feedback side. 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 The feedback section. The feedback section. So, first bit of feedback comes in from probably the greatest law enforcement agency known to man. It's Taco Force 157. He says regarding Foreign Beggars, big fan, love to play an online game with you folks someday. And of course, Taco Force, we would love to play online games with some of our fans, but we don't like them.
So sorry about that.
So, no, we actually would. But barring the fact that we don't have that much time, but one day we're going to sort it out. We will. I promise you that.
Yeah, we'll do a little shout out, see who's interested, and we're trying to organise something online.
Exactly.
100%. We have promised it.
Eric Betts comes in. He says about the same series, great series, fun play, and really nice editing and sound. Thank you very much, Eric.
Very
That's
nice.
really good. This is what I hate about feedback sides. When we get nice ones, it makes you feel so awkward. Sam Riviera says, dag this, which is obviously the past tense of to dig.
Yep.
He says, dag this was really good, thanks.
Well,
So cheers,
you.
mate.
Yeah.
Matt Stark comes in because apparently Nick posted episode 37 on G+, 20 days after it came out, calling it a new episode.
Yes, Nick.
Yes. And then Matt said, are you drunk or something? These aren't new episodes. Who do you think you're fooling?
It was my OCD. It's because there was a few episodes missing in our actual folder on G+ that has all the episodes in, and it really got to me, and I was like, right, I need to add them. And I just added it. I literally spammed it by adding them all into the thing. Never mind.
Just sort your fucking life out, Nick. Don't call things new when they're not.
I know, it's true. It's true.
Try playing it off as new.
Yeah. Look at all this hard work we've been putting in, guys. Wait a minute, it's like 4 episodes ago. What are you talking about? So, obviously, no flies on Matt.
Exactly.
No falling Matt.
No.
Nick was trying to hipster us.
You don't get much past the Stark.
Well, that's it for feedback this time, ladies and gentlemen. We did get a very nice message from a bloke called Eric Jones on Patreon as well, but he said a lot of personal stuff in there, so probably won't read that out. But cheers for the feedback, guys. If you've got any negative stuff as well, come at us.
Yeah, we like
Bring
it.
it.
Yeah, because we're hard. We will fight you in real life.
Bring it, Justin.
I've been working out in the gym.
Have you?
No.
All right, so let's get on with what we've been playing in.
What you've been slaying.
Nice one.
Oi! Yeah? What you slaying?
I've been playing ICRPG, which is a very simple D20 based system, and I've been playing it with Gary. I don't have much to say about that because we mentioned it a lot in our last podcast, but one of the things that happened in the ICRPG game recently that I thought was fucking awesome was we've been playing like a fantasy game in it, and it was really funny because what happened was I was playing a mage, and we had another mage on the team, and we were supposed to kill this like Lich Deceiver guy. And first of all, I used levitate on myself to make my horse come out of the sewers into the guy's lair. Rode my horse through his front room and smacked him with a chest in the face.
That sounds awesome.
And then when to kill him, our plan was I annoyed him so that he would shout, like he got really annoyed and was like, "What the fuck?" And then when he opened his mouth, I shrunk myself down to miniature size, jumped in his mouth, and grew back to normal, exploding.
Burst right out of him.
Yes.
So that's pretty much it for ICRPG. It was fucking awesome. Very simple D20 based game. I'd recommend anyone check it out. That's Index Card RPG for anyone that doesn't know. But then let's get to the meat, guys. Let's get to the meat because we've been playing Savage Fallout.
Oh, God.
Oh, yeah.
It's gone well, hasn't it?
Yeah, yeah. Really well.
It's gone well.
Amazing.
I mean, let's try and describe what happened to our first characters.
Describe them in a few words. Ryan?
Well, we're describing the characters or describing what happened?
happened?
Let's just describe what happened.
We were vault dwellers.
Yeah.
And then we got released. So we were a team of people that were in a vault for all our lives. We got released and we was out in the wasteland. And from then on, we went for adventures that
Did we?
didn't end too well.
Adventure.
One adventure.
Yeah. We
came out. Yeah, go on.
Yeah, so we went out. There's this random encounter table in Savage Fallout. So as you're roaming about, you might find something.
Should be relabeled 2PK table.
Yeah. So what did we find?
Death.
A nuclear missile.
An unexploded nuclear bomb.
Yeah.
And so this is a sandbox campaign. So we're thinking, well, we're not there. Things can still happen with it. I mean, Ryan, you said that we should have buried it, and I think you're right about that. Because what we
Hindsight's a
decided...
beautiful thing, though.
Yeah.
Exactly. And our plan was like, well, if we're not there, the second a raider comes across this, one of those idiots is going to punch it, and then that's it.
That's
Goodbye.
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
We all died anyway, so...
And suddenly these bunch of idiots, like we were all teenagers as well, so all these teenagers from a vault think, oh, we're going to disarm this. We've got like maybe a D8 in science, which for those that don't play Savage Worlds is like medium level, if that. And then so we tried to disarm it. So what we did is like some of us fucked off to the vault, two of them stayed behind and tried to disarm it. We did a dramatic task, and this dramatic task couldn't have gone worse. So for those that don't know what a dramatic task is, it's basically 5 rounds of skill checks, and it just went so badly. We had a crit fail, we had 2 complications, and then there was a point where Sean said that nuclear waste or whatever, some sort of nuclear liquid started spraying out of somebody's face, and he described it as looking like a L'Oreal advert.
Oh, no.
And somebody got radiated, went down immediately, and then so at that point only one person was dealing with it. Bomb goes off. And it's like, at that point, it's not that just your characters die, it's that the entire game world is fucked. Because we were adventuring in this, well, not small, but like quite big area, but that entire game world's fucked. So it's well, you can't just roll up new characters because you have to wait at least 100 years.
Because it's inhabitable.
Yeah. So we rolled up new characters, and we're now playing in that same game world, but 100 years later, and everything's changed. The whole wasteland is completely different. The people that inhabit it are different. The characters are different. The monsters are different, and it's we've made up new characters.
Yeah,
and it's I like our new characters. So Ryan, who are you playing?
I am Nana Moonshine, which is actually based on... loosely on the Fallout character Nana Murphy, he's right at the beginning, who's part of the sort of group you do in the video game.
Fallout 4?
Yeah, Fallout 4,
yeah.
And what's her thing?
She's addicted to Jet, and she has these visions, and she's sort of like some sort of sage, really, that sort of like leads the.
She thinks she's a sage.
She thinks she's a sage.
But she's just strung out on jet and has these weird visions.
Yeah.
Yeah, but all our characters are so thick they actually listen to it.
Yeah, they believe her.
So like our old town went completely dry, had no food in it, and everyone left on this big pilgrimage. But you did so many drugs and told us to stay there. We stayed there long after it was inhabitable.
She manipulates what she wants to do and says it's through visions as well. So if she wants the group to do something, she'd be like, yeah, I've had this vision this is part of my vision, we should do this, and everyone's like, okay, and it's just what she wants to do.
There was a point where we saw a bunch of ghouls down in a metro, and there were some vending machines that were barely worth looting, and she was like, I've seen a vision, you should go down there, and then we just got fucking beaten like the shit kicked out of us.
Yeah.
And I'm playing shitman Shane Diddley, who's part of one half of the Diddley twins, who are a travelling troupe of musicians who play for potatoes in towns, basically, and mute fruit. And they just travel around playing music. And James,
I'm playing Frank Sterling, who's what's it? Because the Knights
Brotherhood of Steel.
Brotherhood of Steel. He's an ex-Brotherhood of Steel because he got kicked out because he's a corrupt as fuck. But he's now the Diddley twins' bodyguard, and he sort of just travels around. He's been to like all their gigs, and he's always just the security guard dude, and he's like a hoarder as well, so he's always up for getting loot and all this stuff, but he's kind of like just super loyal, so he'll never leave them, and he's kind of like the muscle in it. At the minute.
Actually came into play as well because we played a gig that went so badly we started getting bottled, and he was jumping in the way of the bottles and stuff. And then Nick, you are?
I'm playing Chucklebot Mark III. So I am a comedy robot. Used to play in clubs and stuff long time ago. All the audiences stopped coming in the club that I was in.
There was a point where you started playing to just skeletons.
Just skeletons, yeah. And these guys found me on their journeys, and I've kind of just joined them. And just a robot with really bad. Well, not really. I wouldn't say really bad. Just some of his circuits are a bit corrupt, so his jokes are very, very hit and miss.
And they're often racist.
And they're often racist.
Is that because of the guy that designed you or something?
And the corruption of years and stuff is just. Just messed him right up, but it's it's fucking weird concept, but it's funny.
The cool thing about your character is that you can use it in combat. So you've got the honeyed tongue edge, which is usually you can use persuasion, but we're using the perform skill. So you can use perform skill to tell jokes in combat to shake people, so they can be laughing at your jokes in combat. So there was a point where you told a joke in combat. Usually roll, and if it goes badly, you'll tell a bad joke, and if it goes well, you'll tell a good joke.
Yeah.
And it's such a cool character.
It's
and
fun.
Yeah. We played a gig and did it as a dramatic task and basically got ran out of town, didn't we? Our character's journey is that we're just looking for a new place to settle. The first place we found, we played one gig, and the guy was like, "I tell you what, I'll allow you safe passage in this town as long as you increase the morale of my people. They've been on some hard times recently." And I was like, my character's like, "Well, you know what? I'll do a gig and I'll slay that crowd." And then we were all talking and like outside, and we were all having this pep talk, like, what songs should I do? And then James was like, "I think you should do Wheels on the Bus." And somebody else was like, and then followed by Saint Anger. And I was like, "Should I do Turning Japanese?" And everyone was like, no, don't do that. And then it gets to the last round of the dramatic task, and I was like, and I said, I look around nervously, I see the crowd isn't taking it, and I go, "And this one's called I'm Turning Japanese." And then I rolled for it, failed miserably.
Oh, yeah.
And then I started singing it, and everyone's throwing bottles at me, and we're like, "We got to get out of here." And we ran out the back, and then the mayor's out there pointing a gun at us, and he's just like, he's like, "All right, guys, that went pretty badly."
Yeah.
And then we just robbed the mayor,
So we
blind
robbed
and
him.
ran out of town.
Yep.
Yeah,
and it just ran away. So that was our first experience with Craterton.
But yeah, what a great game. I'm absolutely loving Savage Fallout. It is fucking hard for new characters, but I think that emulates the game very well.
Yeah.
I spoke to Eric about this recently, and he said something quite profound, I felt, is that I said it's very top-loaded to be harsh against new characters. And I felt like in the video games, you could save and load all the time. And Eric said, well, in Fallout, in Savage Worlds, you have bennies. That's your saving and loading.
That's true. Yeah,
that's how you can retry things, and I think it works. It really emulates the feel of the Fallout games.
we just need to utilise our bennies in a different way in Savage Fallout, I think.
You really do, and I
Yeah.
feel like it is fucking hard and it is imbalanced against new characters, but I think that's what Fallout is.
And that's part of the fun, yeah,
Yeah.
totally.
I'm quite lucky because I got the luck trait, so I get an extra Benny.
You do
Exactly.
indeed, yeah.
That's quite invaluable.
You always feel like you're on the back foot with everything, but then that is Fallout.
Yeah, it's Fallout.
You know, you're never winning in Fallout, let's be honest.
And
Yeah,
also,
that's
you
true.
never get a chance to relax because that random encounter table. You think, oh, I've got 2 wounds, I'll just rest up on the way. No, ain't happening.
No.
Ain't happening.
That was funny though, because we was travelling to the new town, and there was 2 random encounters that came up, and the first one was a bounty hunter that we dealt with quite well, and the second one was actually a friendly cowboy, but because we were so ready for a fight, he was like, "Whoa, I'll see you later."
I'm going to mosey on down to the next place.
Talk
Pretty
to
much
us, yeah.
everyone that we've met has wanted to fight us. So when we saw him coming towards us, we was all like ready to go.
Yeah, and he was actually
just
fine.
walked past.
Yeah.
He was just a nice guy.
Yeah.
We treated him so badly.
Poor guy,
And then
yeah.
as he was walking away, we were like, I think that guy might have been nice. Wait. And he was just like, no, I'm mosey on down.
Don't let me see you again.
Yeah, you goddamn weirdos.
It was so bad. But yeah, I think I'm loving Savage Fallout. It's fucking hard, but it's great. One of the baddest incidents was when I threw a plasma mine, not realising it had a large burst template, and it fucked us right up.
God.
And you didn't throw it far enough either.
Yeah, and you know the worst thing about it was it did 3d10 damage. I forgot to roll the third one, and then I only realised it after. And I did say to
Yeah,
Sean,
it was like a while after, so...
Yeah, Sean's the overseer, in air quotes, in the game. And I did say to him, I was like, oh shit, I just realised it's 3d10, not 2d10. I can roll the last damage. And everyone at the table was like, no, that's fine.
19's fine.
Yeah.
We would have died again.
Yeah, we
Straight into our new characters.
We would have,
the
yeah.
first
Yeah.
session. So
Prologue number 2.
yes.
Yeah. So that's pretty much what we've been slaying this week. Keeping it quick, but we often on this segment we also talk about stuff that we've got. After the con, I've been talking up Rippers, and we'll get onto how much I enjoyed this later on. But I did pick up the Rippers box set. The reason being is that my wife got me this as an early birthday present.
Oh, yeah.
I won't get it out and get all the stuff out because I think it'll take too long, but the Rippers box set, oh boy! So this is 19th century Victorian demon slaying and things like this, but you can get the powers of the demon, almost like 19th century cyberware, so you can give yourself Wolverine claws if you slay a werewolf. You can give yourself, I don't know, I guess I haven't looked that much into it, but vampire fangs if you kill a vampire,
All
tentacles
sorts
if
of
you kill
crazy
a
shit.
crab.
Yeah.
Things like this, and the box set, Pinnacle have knocked out of the park with that. You get the DM guide, the player's guide, a thing called, I forget what it's called, it's like basically Rippers around the world, and it gives you a bunch of locations.
Wicked.
You get 2 action decks, you get a set of dice, you get bennies, you get 4 map packs. It is,
Whoa.
you get a GM screen and an adventure.
Wow.
It is
Full
ridiculous.
set. Yeah.
Yeah, and all for 60 quid, you get everything you need in there, and it has the world map and the Ripper Lodge map in there as well. So
Nice.
it's fucking incredible, and got it here. But we'll have a look at it after the show, but
Nice.
it's amazing.
Yeah.
I want it.
All of us as well have got the Wise Guys demo kit from Just Insert Imagination.
Oh, yeah.
That is one of the coolest things I've ever seen. So what do you guys think of that? Because this is a gangster setting for Savage Worlds, and they just released kind of a starter kit for it. So what do you guys
The
make of
layout
that?
and everything's beautiful.
Yeah, it's a really nice product. It's Eric's. You can see Eric's put a lot of love and care into it, and effort. It's cracking.
It
really,
seems
really
like
good.
a lot of hard work has
Yeah.
gone into it.
Yeah, and one of the things is the artwork and layout is spectacular. This is basically a 90s setting for gangsters. There's some very, very minor changes to the way it would have been back then, but only very minor. If you want to play sort of a genuine type gangsters setting for Savage Worlds, this is what you need. Wise Guys for Savage Worlds. And it comes with an adventure, a bunch of pre-mades, some background, some new weapons, things like this, and it is hands down one of the best things out there. And I believe it's either free or pay what you want on Drive-Thru RPG at the moment. But
The demo kit.
Yeah, the demo kit.
I think it's free at the minute.
Yeah, and we were lucky to get print editions
Yep.
Yeah.
for being playtesters,
Yep.
and I can't say how happy I am with that.
Yeah.
but,
Yeah, we
Yeah,
have a
really,
few
really.
more to give out as prizes at the con as well.
yeah. So
So
check
thank
that
you very
out
much.
if you can, because
So good.
It is one of the best products out there at the moment, and it's bloody free. And Nick, of course, you won 6th gun.
Oh yeah, I walked away with the 6th gun on the raffle at Savage Con, which I was really pleased about. I was had my eye out on that one, so that was handy.
Yeah, this is an official Pinnacle product, and this was sort of, I say written, but it was, I don't know how to say it, like adapted by Scott Woodard, and he's one of the best people are adapting these kind of things. But this is a Western setting for Savage Worlds, and I know that they're sort of famous for having done Deadlands, which is one of the flagship sort of weird Western settings. But this is like it's sort of magic, weirdness, and the Wild West kind of thing. And it's very, very cool. What do you make of the book, having a look at it now, right?
Yeah, I always revert straight to the artwork now. I love comic books, so I'm just like staring at those right now.
It's cool, isn't it?
Yeah, it's really nicely done.
It's cheap as well, man. And the cool thing about this is that it sticks very close to Savage Worlds Raw. So the thing is, you can just play this with the actual core Savage pretty easily. It doesn't make too many changes like Deadlands does. So if you have a problem with Deadlands,
try this out. Yeah, absolutely. You won't be disappointed.
Yeah, so that's pretty much it for what we've been slaying this week.
Oh.
I mean, we got through it fast this time because we got Savage Con on our hands.
Yeah, we got a lot to talk about.
We got a lot to talk about with this one. So, well, let's get on with it, ladies and gentlemen.
See you on the other side.
Main. Subject. Main. Subject. Sorry.
This weekend, right, what we've done is we organised the convention. Now, why did we do that? Well, because we like conventions, isn't it, right?
Oh yeah,
Yeah. Right, shut up. So, what was Savage Con? Well, this was obviously listeners to the show will know that some of our favourite settings include Dungeon Crawl Classics, Savage Worlds, Tales from the Loop, Fatal. But the thing about it is that one of our favourites is Savage Worlds, and we wanted to just make a convention that was purely about gaming and playing games and celebrating all the different things you can do with Savage Worlds. And of course, there was ShakeOn before that, which was a Savage Worlds convention, which sadly shut down. And so we wanted to follow in their footsteps and make something equally as awesome. I hope that we succeeded in that, but that's basically what it was. And as a result, with this segment, what we want to do is talk about the convention, all the different things we experienced, all the awesome things that people brought to the table during the convention, and just talk about the games. And what I sort of don't want to do is just talk too much and just, mention random people's names and just it be another What You've Been Saying segment. But hopefully what we can do is highlight products, awesome games, and things that people can go out and buy and try for themselves. And also some techniques that we learned at the con as well. So we're sort of going to go through everything that we did at the weekend and everything. But why did we pick Savage Worlds for a convention? Nick?
Well, I would say that it's a very easy game for us as new players or people that haven't played too much of it. It's a very easy system to just pick up and play. There's not a lot of sitting down learning, being confused, especially like when you're at a con and you're just there for the day to enjoy yourself. So it's a great system for that. It's so versatile. There's so much for it. So we knew straight away that if we did Savage Worlds, we would have plenty of people, like different variety of games and things like that, because it's it is what it is. It's so generic in such a great way.
And in addition to that as well, I feel like there's so many. As you say, it's versatile, and no two games will feel alike if you're doing it right.
Exactly.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, totally.
So at Savage Con, as I say, it was all about the games, and all we did realistically was just have it so that the entire weekend was all about playing games. We didn't, obviously, it was a very small event, and as a result, we didn't have things like panels and things like that because we couldn't.
But to be honest with you, I think like the whole Savage Con thing, we wanted it to feel like you were gaming in your friend's front room. That was the intimate feeling we wanted, the friendliness, the joint love for the hobby. None of this big advertising, all this kind of stuff that makes it corporate. It was local gaming, and people came far and wide to come to it, which was absolutely amazing. But the actual atmosphere that we really wanted to kind of capture was that friendly, you just down the pub or in your front room with your mates playing some games.
I mean, we did invite Kim Kardashian.
She was unfortunately busy. She had a D&D thing or something.
She's always blowing me out.
Really?
She's always blowing you off. I mean, she did.
Some guy called Kanye.
Yeah, that fucking
treading on my
keep
toes.
getting shitty emails from him.
He stole her.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Kanye, we're calling you out. Come on the podcast and defend yourself. So that was basically, and so what we did is we rented a side room in a what was it, kind of restaurant / pub on day one, and a room above a pub on day two, and that was pretty much it. So let's get into the game. So day one, Ryan, you played in Deadlands, The Taxidermist's Tale, and this was run by Owen Lean. This is actually an adventure written by him that's available now on Pinnacle's website as well. So what did you make of this?
Yeah, it was awesome. I mean, it's the first time I met Owen, and he was fantastic. He's such a big personality that he everyone was instantly involved in the game, and he's really great at creating the scene, and just really lively and energetic, and it was ideal for the first game in the morning because I'm horrible in the morning, so he really woke me up and got everything going. But I was playing a character that was like a Texas Ranger, Chuck Norris-esque character.
Nice, wicked.
And there was various sort of like hillbilly characters that were with us. I think Richard Woolcock was. I can't really remember.
He had to play a lady.
He played a lady.
Yeah, that's right.
He had no voice.
Yeah. So this, I believe that this adventure has some things like there's a taxidermist he's taxidermied animals and that come to life.
Yes,
right?
that's exactly what happened. And there was a gang that we were after. I don't know. Can I reveal too much about it?
Yeah, reveal it. I don't know.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, there was this gang. Some guy called Kenny that had a sort of like a gang. So he knew more about what was going on. So we had our mission was to try and find this Kenny guy. We get into the cave where we tracked them down, this gang, and we find they're dead. And there's like paw prints everywhere going into this cave and out this cave, and it looks like a wolf's sort of ripped up this gang.
Oh, he's been shredded of that.
Nasty. But Richard had this great line, and he's like, "They killed Kenny, them bastards." And like Owen was like, "That's the first time it's ever been used," but it was classy. He got a Benny for that. So that was really good. And then we follow the adventure and follow the clues and the tracks, and we end up at the taxidermist's place, and we quiz him, and it turns out that he has some sort of magical hold over the taxidermy animals that he's been making, and they come to life.
Wicked.
And it was kind of a bit of a spanner thrown in there because we thought, oh, okay, we found him, and then it turns out he was taking credit for another taxidermist's work, who lived in the woods. So it wasn't actually his animals; he was just kind of taking credit for it.
Oh, right.
So we went and found the real taxidermist out in the woods, and we found this cabin, and we had this massive fight with bears, owls, wolves.
Isn't there a ceiling that comes to life?
Yeah, that's the owl ceiling, and there's loads of eyes of owls up there. We didn't attack that first, which turned out to be quite a smart move. We just went for the animals. There's a big bear in there as well, and the taxidermist himself. I can't for the life remember the name of the character, but yeah, no, it was super fun. Owen, yeah, no, we had a great time.
Remember to face the bloody mic.
Sorry. Yes.
But anyway, it sounds fucking awesome. We have a bunch of emails from the guys who played in that game as well. And Daniel Irwin, one of the guys that was playing in the game, he says that there was a moment where you went to hack at a snake and he'd caught it in the bag. So you crit failed, stuck your entire hand in the bag, and it went into the snake's mouth.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And I got bitten by like this really bad venom.
Oh, nasty.
So yeah. Daniel luckily managed to save me because he was sort of like a native Indian that knew like shaman things.
All right, so he sucked the venom out.
So he sucked the venom out. Yeah.
Oh, nice.
So he completely. But why? I think he was throwing a tomahawk at the same time as a multi-action.
Nice.
He was doing that.
So he was sucking venom and chucking.
I think so. There was a move like that. Yeah.
Wow.
So, and then,
That's awesome.
It was a really cool
Wicked.
move.
So as I say, we asked a bunch of guys for like their memories and stuff like this of their games, and Richard Woolcock said also at the end of Taxidermist's Tale, the big bad charged into the cabin, and it was obvious that Owen wanted to kill a few player characters. And he said, "I shot the big bad, but didn't do much damage. So with various edges, I dropped the knife from my other hand, drew my second pistol, took another shot, then Steve played an adventure card to double the damage, 6 wounds. Owen's face fell."
Yeah, you could see you wanted to take a couple of us out.
Yeah. Owen,
I was definitely on that list.
Yeah, because apparently Owen, he started going mental, and he was like, he wanted to kill Ryan, but when he didn't, he was like, "You fucking piece of shit!" He started getting really angry. So,
He was cheering his own roles.
Yeah, he loves it, mate.
Oh my god.
Owen, he loves to eat PCs.
Yeah,
he
he
wanted
does.
some breakfast.
Yeah, he was. Yeah.
I think it's because it was a con, right? He just wanted to add some brutality in there.
Yeah, I think he did.
So that would have been your first time ever playing Deadlands. What did you make of the setting?
Yeah, the set was amazing, and he completely painted the picture about all the things that are in Deadlands as well, like the White Rocks, and you know, explained the whole setting, and it was amazing. And I know he has quite a lot to do with Deadlands, and he's writing.
He's written a couple of adventures for them and stuff, and he's run LARPs and things. So that's a setting he knows really well. So yeah, you think he painted a good picture?
Yeah, absolutely. I thought it was awesome.
Would you play again?
Yeah, I would. I'd love to play Deadlands again. Yeah,
Sweet. Yeah, well, I've
maybe
got the
we should
books.
put that on the list.
I reckon so.
Yeah, cool.
Next up, me and James played in a hopefully up and coming setting for Savage Worlds called Punk Rock, and the adventure was called Living After Midnight, and it was GM'd by Connor Warden. So this is a setting that I don't know if he wants us to reveal this or not. I will ask him and maybe bleep this, but he's going to be pitching it to Pinnacle soon, and this is set in the 70s, I believe, punk rock setting, right? And we played a band. And our band was called Alan's Keys.
Alan's Keys.
And
Alan's Keys.
right, and our band, James was the drummer. Dan, one of our good friends, he was the guitarist. And then we didn't have any other members except for a singer that we recruited.
Oh yeah, because Harrison was the manager.
Yeah. And we recruited a singer during the game, right? But then I was just the manager, and I was this scumbag, greedy motherfucker. And even when I had loads of money on me, I had about 75 quid. But when I buy these guys a pint, I buy one and then pour it out between three glasses.
Yeah, into like
So you're playing yourself.
Pretty much. But yeah, it was really funny because the reason that our band had never taken off, right, get this, is because all of our previous songs, to be so edgy and punk, were all about paedophiles. And I know it's bad. But then there was a battle of the bands coming up, and we noticed we nicked one of their tapes, found out that all of their songs were about vampires, and obviously a normal player character would see this and go, okay, there's going to be a paranormal edge coming up. But what our band did was saw that we need to make rival songs, and we started making songs about werewolves instead.
Yeah.
And then we had all of these songs, but then it all transpired that they were vampires. We fought against vampires, all of this stuff, and then we did a gig at the end. And what were some of our song names, James?
One of them was Go into the woods and take your clothes off because there's a full moon.
One was Werewolves.
And then the other one was More Werewolves.
Oh my god!
And then we sort of did the gig, right. We played all of our new songs. Then they asked for an encore, and we realised that we didn't have any more songs because all of our werewolf songs were used up. So we had to play one of our old songs that was a cross between paedophiles and ghosts.
It's called Paedophile Ghosts.
No, it was Pedogeist.
Oh, that's it. Pedogeist.
Pedogeist.
And then he was like, "You're gonna have to roll this at a -2 because it's such an outrageous song." And we rolled it and we smashed it, and everyone in the crowd,
absolutely, like the whole last sort of scene of it all, where we were doing the gig, we absolutely destroyed them.
Yeah, and then all the crowds like Pedogeist.
Did you guys actually sing the song as well? Because I remember there's a lot
I could hear singing. Yeah.
We had a song about a golem called Rockman. and there was Rockman. Yeah, we were singing that, and it was like Rockman, where's Rockman?
And then Daniel kept coming out with some good lyrics.
Yeah, he said, "I'm going to smash your hole with stone."
That was funny.
It was pretty awful.
Wicked.
It was pretty awful. But then at the end, that's when Daniel, his character, realised that he had powers, and he plays his guitar and he does one final strum, and a big lightning bolt comes out and starts attacking the other band. And
Brilliant.
we did this big fight, two stages, one across the other. My character runs forward, and I said I attack him with my longsword, but longsword with the brand of whiskey bottle that I had, and I start smacking him with this whiskey bottle. And I was fucking amazing. It was such a good setting, and that was great because he used the social conflict rules in Savage Worlds to a battle of the bands.
Yeah,
and
it worked so
really well for it.
Yeah, it works fantastically. I couldn't recommend that setting highly enough. So hopefully it's going to come out soon, and I really, really wish him the best with that because.
Oh, it was awesome.
Yeah, it had a new mechanic in it for fame as well. As you do more and more gigs, your band levels up, you get more fame, people get to know you, and as a result your gigs will go better.
Yeah.
Things like this.
Nice.
And it was absolutely spectacular. And he said it's like Buffy the Vampire Slayer meets punk rock in the 70s.
Yes.
What
could you ask for?
Exactly. It was so good. And my character had a cricket bat, and he threw it at every show that we did.
Threw it at who?
just anyone. It would just always wind up that I threw it at somebody.
Into the crowd.
Yeah, and there's a bit where we were in an alley and this vampire was like bearing his fangs at me, and every time he spoke I would just spray him in the face with a fire extinguisher. There were some cracking lines that came out of James, but I have to save them for a challenge that we're doing later.
Were you all British?
Oh yeah.
Oh, brilliant.
Yeah, and James's character was the drummer as well, because he's a drummer in real life. So
Yeah, of course.
it was spectacular. It was so good. And there's a bit where an amp came alive.
Oh yeah, there was a bright red Marshall amp that the other band was using, because before the last scene where we were fighting at a battle of the bands, we did an impromptu battle of the bands by just taking over the stage, and we ended up doing so well that the band left, and then we took their equipment. And so we had this red amp that was back at headquarters, which was just basically the manager's house, and it was kind of like shithole.
Yeah.
And then whilst we were sitting there, it just came alive and sort of grew a mouth and started trying to eat. It started trying to eat me.
Like
'Cause I
a
was the only
mimic.
one in
Amp
the room.
mimic.
Exactly that, yeah.
Shit.
And then fucking James was fighting it. I came up from the balcony just with my morning coffee, which was just lager in in like a coffee cup. and then Dan came out of the loo and stuck a dirty bog brush with shit all over it in its mouth. And then the fucking mimic was so disgusted by this that it started puking up all over the floor, and there was shit and bones all over the floor.
Yeah.
No. And my character was like, alright, who's cleaning that up? Man, what a setting. But next up, Nick, you played Punted in the Bonds.
I ran it.
Yeah, you ran it.
Yeah,
did.
boy.
So
Go on, Nick.
describe this setting for those that don't know, and describe the writer.
Yeah, okay, well...
Right as a cunt.
Yeah, I don't know where I found this piece of shit from, but I gave it my best. No, so Punted in the Bonds is a adventure written by the wonderful Harrison, and is obviously from Just Insert Imagination. Think Lock, Stock and Two Smoking Barrels, kind of British gangster type, escapade. It's fantastic, and I really, really enjoyed it, and I picked it because I just felt it would be quite a good fit for a con, and it would be quite good fun. It's like a crime caper type thing. So I ran it, and I was shitting myself, ain't gonna lie. But I think it went alright. So.
Yeah, we're from Croydon, Nick. It's not a far stretch.
No, mate, that's why I could
We're
just...
scumbags
it's
anyway.
home from home, mate. It was easy, yeah, exactly.
So the idea of this adventure is basically a bunch of idiots have to rob a post office because they pissed a gangster off.
Yeah, exactly that. So they've got to come up with 100 grand in 24 hours to pay for repairs to a very expensive car. Otherwise, one of the most notorious gangsters in London will send his henchmen out to cut them up, basically. And these guys are, your normal kind of bozos
But
sitting about in a pub on Tuesday afternoon.
You would not believe the feedback for this game. Let me read some of this out. Daniel Irwin, he says his favourite memory: the whole of Nick Lamley in Punted in the Bonds. Amazing talent for characterisation and voices, and dealing with a bunch of wacky plans. The interlude by Richard Woolcock was also amazing, but unfortunately I can't remember the whole story. Something about losing his trousers in the Thames and then getting into a club in just his underpants. And Richard Woolcock also says, when one of the PCs tried to break a guy's finger to intimidate him, but the damage dice just kept exploding, and he ended up ripping the guy's thumb off.
Yeah, completely.
Richard Woolcock also then comes in and says, in Punted in the Bonds, where we kept accidentally killing people, we'd hit them and then they'd fall funny. We ended up with a collection of corpses in the back of our stolen postal van, and then gave them to that dodgy kebab guy. So yeah, they were giving it as false meat. But all weekend, all I heard was Punted in the Bonds, Punted in the Bonds.
Yeah, I say
Always.
everyone loved it. They were
It's great
mad
though.
for it.
So
amazing.
Nick, you
You've done well, Nick.
obviously smashed it.
Well, what I wanted to do, I wanted to give the characters as much freedom as I possibly could, and because it's such a good game for role playing and putting together a wacky plan, I thought, right, rather than start them right on the heist, I'll start it a little bit earlier and see where it goes. Anyway, it all turned out that they spent about 2.5 hours prepping for this big heist. They didn't actually get into the post office till probably the last hour. But we had such a ride leading up to that bit. We went out to Brixton to try and find postal vans. They had this massive plan. They were trying to get a van for someone. They couldn't get a van off him, so they had to go somewhere else to get a van. And it was cracking. And then we played some darts. We did where someone got a crit foul and they threw a dart, it went through the window and actually hit someone inside of the head and killed them. Like, it was such a bad throw. We had, it was just fantastic. And the players I had were great. It was just, I could just let them get on with it, and I really gave them as much as they wanted, and I didn't try to kind of push them in any kind of direction. I just really wanted them to just organically come up with their own plans, and they did. And man, it was incredible,
Well,
so
'cause
rewarding.
This is the thing. When I wrote that adventure, but the thing is, we started them at the post office because then you're straight into the meat of the adventure, and sometimes planning can be boring for some players. But you went completely against that and did what you wanted, and it seemed to have worked out really well. And when I was hearing, I kept hearing flashes of your table while I was playing Flash Gordon, and it was like, and one of them was like, right, we're going to give the dead guys to the kebab van, and I was like, that's not in the event. What the fuck is going? What the hell has happened over there?
Yeah, because they had all the bodies in the back of the van, and then they were like, "Oh, well, we need to get rid of this evidence." And they'd already been to the kebab guy before for something else, and he bought it off them for cash and that. Oh man! And then they, it was quite fun. And then I went past the end bit, so we had we tried to wrap it up. So like the one of the women that worked at the post office had kind of fallen for one of the characters, and then they went off to America. Psycho, funny enough, because he was obsessed with America. So he ended up going to America, and yeah, it was incredible. I absolutely loved it. It was so much fun. It really was.
Well, and we're now starting work on the sequel to Punted in the
Yes,
Bonds,
we are,
because obviously you did such a fantastic job of running it and creating so much new stuff for it.
Thank
I thought
you.
it'd be awesome that me and Nick should work on it. So
Yeah, man.
we're now working on the
yes.
sequel, which we're tentatively titling. We may do a complete rewrite, but we're calling it Whacked in the Wicket. And we're not going to give away any details, but hopefully we're going to come up with something cool for that.
Yeah, coming soon.
So then James and I played in Flash Gordon, which I ran and you played in, James. We played Flash Gordon, which is new setting for Savage Worlds, and it uses some of the Savage Black rules, which is obviously going to be the next edition of Savage Worlds. And so some changes in this, you use athletics instead of throwing and climbing and things like this, and there's some other changes.
Opposed rules are a little bit different now,
test
aren't they?
of wills
That's
and
it,
things
test
like
of
this.
wills, yeah.
Yeah, and you know what? Flash Gordon as a setting is spectacular. It's silly, it's fun, it's wacky, and the pre-gens in this are crazy.
Pinnacle have pulled out all the stops for this one, though, isn't it?
yeah.
There's a bloody fistful of pre-gens in there.
Yeah.
isn't
Yeah,
there?
you got a lion man, a shark man, a hawk person, a robot, which James played. It's ridiculous the amount of stupid shit you can be in this. And my adventure was called Jack of All Trades, Blaster of Nuns. And the plot of this, right, is that for days. So just for the listeners, there's this big war going on, right, between the rebels and basically Ming's armies, right? And I think that's how it goes. But in this adventure, it did anyway. And the rebels basically keep getting in this adventure prank calls, and their radio's getting scrambled. They keep getting these prank calls. So there's this. They keep getting these things that are like, "Is your refrigerator running?" And like the Lion Man, who's played by Dan, kept answering it, and she's like, "No, it does not have feet." And then the person on the other line's like, "Better go catch it," and then just hangs up. And it
Oh, no, Dan was the giant.
Oh, Dan was a giant, yeah. And he kept answering it and just saying that, and it was like these prank calls that just kept on going on and on for weeks and weeks. They've been waiting for orders for months. They're just in the jungle, just doing nothing, getting bored, drinking, doing nothing.
Yeah, and our crew's pretty dumb as it is.
Yeah, and then suddenly they get a real order come in. They've been waiting for months in this hot jungle, and they get a real order, and it's like Ming's armies have been making a new drug called Zero J. You need to. This shit can get you real seed up, and it's really fucked up. You need to go steal a rocket from the enemy team, fly to the mountains, go to this place where they're making it. And the worst thing is they've been dressing as nuns and making it in a church to disguise the fact that they're making this new drug. Go and fuck them up. So, to cut a long story short, they steal a rocket. They were doing all sorts of crazy manoeuvres. My brother used the word Batman as a verb to swing over, pick somebody up. James was like blasting people with his rifle and all of this. And they steal a rocket, fly up there, shoot a bunch of nuns, and it turns out they're real nuns, and that Zero J was orange juice, and that was the order was yet another prank call.
Yeah, I like a ginormous prank.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah.
We just massacred nuns.
Yeah, and the funny thing is that halfway through the fight, Dan actually said, "This is really easy," and I was like, "Yeah," because they've got like D4 and stats, and like they were actual nuns, and they were crying on the floor at some point.
Yeah, they had like no toughness or parry.
Oh,
Just killing a load of nuns, and you thought you were doing well.
Doing the
There were points where literally Giacomoba, the giant, was like stomping on them, smashing two of their heads together, shooting them in the face while they're unarmed on the floor. Like, it was crazy. And then I'm like, "Your radio rings," and he answers it, and Ming the Merciless is like, he's like, "Hello, this is your captain. How's the mission?" You stupid prick! And then it was like, he's like, "Can I go up to this vat over here?" He goes up and I'm like, "You smell it? It's orange juice." And he's like,
It smells citrusy.
My God.
That whole thing was a massive stitch up.
Yeah. And then, but the funny thing is that just a couple of hours ago on the mission, my brother pays an adventure card. He's like, a passerby thwarts the villain in some way, right?
Yeah.
And it was Flash Gordon. But I played Flash Gordon like he was a complete drunk. So this is like Winston Churchill, like, you know, the biggest leader of all time, turning up and thwarting the mission, right? And all the villains suddenly turn to start firing at him. But Flash Gordon's past his heyday. He's a drunk. He's a loser. And all of the team, all of like James, Dan, Sean, and Owen started insulting him, calling him a loser.
Yeah.
And so while they were flying up to the mountains on their space rocket, Flash Gordon, we got a complication while they were flying. And Flash Gordon turns up on this little scooter, like a rocket scooter, and he's firing at them with his pistol. And he's like, "Call me a loser, will you?" And that was the complication.
All
Anyway.
overweight and annoying and old. Yeah.
So after they blasted all the nuns, they decided, right, I'm not taking this from Ming. Let's take the rocket and let's go launch an attack on his...
directly on his base.
on his-
Oh my God.
Yeah, exactly. And it was amazing. But halfway through flying there again, they got another complication.
Yeah,
so this time, Flash Gordon turns up again on a better scooter. And he's like, "Call me a loser, will you?" Again, and they're like, everyone was like, "Why don't you go away?"
It's like, how are you still alive?
And
Just peddling.
it was like...
like a Jetsons one.
Yeah, he comes again. Yeah, and the funny thing is that Dan managed to get rid of him eventually by throwing some like spider gunk that he put in his bag from earlier. Just chucked it in his face, and then he was like, "Ah!" But yeah, it was amazing. And you know what? The funniest thing was, people may get this reference, but I've got an app on my phone that allows you to roll any sided number of dice. So you could roll an impossible sided dice, like a D33. And the way that they basically piloted the rocket into Ming's palace to cause a massive explosion. And the way that I calculated damage, this was somebody else's suggestion. I want to point this out. I'm not going to say who.
And it was because why not? It was because they were speaking to the camera. They were doing it because they were playing the captain.
Yeah.
They were like properly playing up to like the setting and that. And every time something was happening, who was he sort of like playing like the guy from Star Trek in it?
Yeah, pretty much. It was
And then-
Owen.
No, but he was playing like the guy from Star Trek, just like over like moving like a robot and then speaking too fancy. But then every now and then would just look away from all of us at the table, point in a direction, and as he was speaking into the camera and like say something, it's like, "This is for America" and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It was awesome. And
And just as he was about to crash it into the palace, he goes, "There are some things we learn from 9/11."
Yeah.
And so for the damage, I rolled 9 D11s. But he got so much damage. The place was a wreck, a complete massive wreck. And I was like, you're going to take this damage too. Then he plays an adventure card and
negate all damage.
Yeah, negate all
my
damage from
God.
one source, and he just climbs out the wreckage.
Yeah, but it played so perfectly.
It was amazing. And then these guys all parachuted in. They see Ming look over his throne all sheepishly, and he's like, "What happened?" And then they all just run at him and beat the fuck out of him.
Lynched him, yeah.
Booting him.
Yeah, they were booting him, punching him in the face, stomping on him.
They beat him to death, didn't they?
Yeah, they just beat him to death. And that obviously brings me to Owen's little... he shared a memory as well, and he said that one of his favourite memories of the con was Flash Gordon repeatedly appearing because we criticised him. That was awesome. I really enjoyed that. I would definitely play Flash Gordon again. I would run a campaign in it. I thought it was fantastic.
Yeah.
That was another one by Scott Woodard as well, who wrote Sixth Gun, so fucking awesome.
right.
He's a talented man.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ryan, Colorado James and the Temple of Snakes.
Oh boy.
Run by
man.
Connor Wooden.
Yeah, this was one of my favourites, I must admit, because Colorado James and Temple Snakes is basically Indiana Jones.
Yes.
So it was kind of like amalgamation of all of the Indiana Jones films rolled into one, and Connor is just so like amazing as a GM, because he really paints like a cinematic sort of scene. Like he would tell you like the camera pans through the carriage of the train, and you know,
Yeah.
and then zooms.
You said it was like a film. You was like you was in a film.
It really it was just like the film. Like, I played Colorado James, and Peter, my friend, he played Colorado James's dad, Henry. So that was definitely like the Last Crusade Indiana Jones film with like Sean Connery. So one of Peter's hindrances, which I thought he played amazingly, was to constantly berate my character, just like the film. So, you know, he was just constantly telling me I was no good, I'm stupid, and every decision was questioned that I made. And it just felt like the Indiana Jones film. There was actually one part of the session where we was being chased by the boulder. As well, and I got my bullwhip and sort of lassoed out of the way, and there's some really epic moments, and Connor was kind enough to put the Indiana Jones music on during like intense scenes,
Yeah,
so you
that's
really
awesome.
felt like it really got us hyped. So yeah, it was really cool, but toward like the whole campaign, like with Peter's character constantly berating mine, and I got like the wisecracks coming out back at him, like shut up there,
yeah,
you know, this kind of thing. We actually reconciled towards the end of the campaign, and that was key to the mission. It turned out because basically we got it just like in, I think it's the Last Crusade, where there's where we go into a temple and there's that old sort of Knight
Templar,
Knight Templar.
Choose wisely.
That's right, and because we kind of had a reconcile moment, and he was like, "I'm proud of you, son."
It's a really touching moment. You acted it out really well, didn't you?
Yeah,
it was quite emotional. I heard.
That's it. Yeah, it was a little bit because we'd been at each other's throats the whole thing.
Brilliant. Yeah,
and then because the Knight Templar saw that, he gave us what we needed basically to continue.
Yeah.
So it turned out to be key, and it was really well done. So no, I thoroughly enjoyed that.
Yeah, because you had a couple of. It was like a bit dungeony, puzzly, and things like that, wasn't it?
Yeah, there's this one puzzle that was we stalled on for quite a time. Not that it was difficult; it's just we were not very bright.
No, I mean,
but it basically there was like we had to get Connor brought these like they're four sort of type, 4 words that are linked in some way, and we had to have each column linked to be able to open the to get the amulet that we needed.
We know all too well.
Yeah, and we were just going on for ages. Me and
Don't
Pete.
worry, I feel your
so it's like a
pain,
word
mate.
association game, because he reused that puzzle on a game we played later,
And we
get
struggled
into that.
as well.
it,
Yeah.
But Peter sent us a message as well. He says, my favourite game was Colorado James. His favourite game of the whole weekend. Mm-hmm. And he says, run by Connor Warden. He was a very fantastic GM and set the scene very well. But personally for me, the favourite part of it was mine and Ryan Field's dynamic, as we decided to play the father-son combo. We were mostly bickering and I was taking pot shots at him. Henry the dad had a hindrance where he constantly talked down to Colorado James. However, towards the end of the adventure, we had a genuinely touching moment that felt natural and the perfect way to end the adventure. Was my absolute favourite moment of the whole weekend.
Wow.
Yeah, I have to echo that. That was my favourite as well. Yeah.
Well done.
Absolutely
I
brilliant.
think that sometimes when you have a 2-man game, it can feel like it's not enough, but that sounds like it was perfect.
Well, yeah, totally, because of the characters as well. It was a father and son combo.
It was
and
perfect,
it was exactly right number of people, so
Wicked.
that really worked well for that.
And do you feel like Savage Worlds is sort of almost perfect for Indiana Jones, or it like?
Personally, I think Savage Worlds is pretty much perfect for anything.
Good answer.
Yeah, that's good.
It's
It
true.
fits into anything.
Yeah, no, you're right.
But yeah, no, it worked. The dynamic worked really well through that.
Well, I mean, it's a testament really to Connor's GMing style and how the work that he put in. Because I barely knew this guy really. I'd only met him once, but he came along to this, and on day 1. He just ran 3 games.
3 games, yeah.
Three
Oh
games,
my God.
3
yeah.
games
Back to
that
back.
the brand new games that have been run before.
Yeah, or in a row. And to be fair, his 3rd game he runs it all the time.
Yes, yes. Sorry,
And
first
this is one that me and Nick played in called Castle Carmilla, and it was in Ripper's Resurrected, and this is my game of the con actually. This was fucking amazing, right?
Yeah, it was.
So Ripper's Resurrected, as I mentioned, 19th century demon slaying, and this had a very, very simple plot, but it was a mega dungeon. And what you do is you go. We had to slay Carmilla, who's Dracula's cousin, and we were a bunch of demon hunters, and we were heroic. So this is, for those that don't really know Savage Worlds, this is like It's very high level. Let's just put it that way. We were fucking badasses,
Yep.
and we got absolutely fucking punted in the bonds during this game.
Battered, yeah.
And this was a mega dungeon, so it was labyrinthine. It was puzzles coming out the wazoo.
Oh man!
We had to have a cartographer at the table drawing out the map.
Just so we could get a grasp on if
Where
we'd
we
been
were.
somewhere before. It was
There were
crazy.
rooms we didn't even understand. We had that same type of word association puzzle at
which
one
got
point.
stumped. Yeah.
Right, and the bit that was I say the worst, but I mean the most stressful, but it was fucking amazing, was there was a point, right, where we got to a room, and he said, okay, roll knowledge occult. One of us rolls it, we know immediately there's a ritual, and we know that something's going to happen in about 45 minutes, but we only heard it from the other side of the door. And we knew that we needed a shield-shaped key to get in.
Yep.
And we didn't have it at that point, and we're like, fuck, we need to do some shit in a very short amount of time. So he puts on a real 45-minute timer in real life. So we have 45 minutes of real time to get it. So suddenly we have to do all of this in 45 minutes. We go into the next room, and he's just trying to describe stuff really quickly. So he goes, you go into a room, there's a sofa on this side, the walls are painted white, you see a painting up there, you see some blood red on the floor over there, and you can see a cupboard. What do you do? And we go, okay, we open the cupboard. He goes, you open the cupboard, you see some clothes in there. We go, alright, next room. Okay,
Yeah,
go to the north.
mate,
I mean,
yeah,
this is
yeah.
how fast we were playing the game at this point.
my God.
For 45
Which is
minutes.
awesome. I think that creates a
I
real
know.
good
The
dynamic.
guy writing the map, there was like smoke coming off his bit of paper. Like, you know what I mean?
It was so tense.
Ah.
And then we got to that room with that puzzle, and we spent, no joke, 25 minutes of that 45 minutes on that puzzle,
Trying to
just
figure
trying
it
to
out.
associate these words. So first of all, we got palindromes. Then we got 4 of them
Anagrams,
right.
weren't they? After
Anagrams,
that,
4 of them right.
And then we were fucked. The last
we were
two,
fucked.
we were really stuck.
25 minutes on this puzzle, and every time we locked in answers and got them wrong, we took 2D.
That was my guy. Kept going, "I'll take it," and he just kept getting electrocuted.
Yeah, all of us got out of the room, and Nick was trying to solve it on his own. And at that point, I'm like, we're fucked. But the point is, it was awful. And but then we solved it with 10 minutes left to go, and he's like, right, which way do you go? We're like, we're running all the way back there. Fuck. Drop my phone. But anyway, we start legging it back down, and we solved the puzzle with like 5 minutes left to go. We run in there. We have 5 minutes, and so we're like, we have to do this as a quick combat. Suddenly, we're all fighting. My character's already on 3 wounds, and bear in mind, we're heroic. We're fucking strong characters by this point. My character goes down in that combat, loses an arm.
Yep.
I'm unconscious. Somebody heals me back up, so I just about get up, and then my character sees his severed arm and goes, "Whoa!" It was so funny.
I'd lost my mind. We were both talking to a taxidermied raccoon called Professor Bitey.
Yeah, because
man.
he when he lost his mind, he became really attached to this taxidermy raccoon and held it under his arm. And my character was constantly trying to keep it together and tell him that he's a nutcase. And I was
You're
like,
just talking to a random.
yeah, and I was like, would you put that thing down? It's disgusting. And then as soon as I started to go insane and I was delirious from blood loss,
Yeah.
I was like talking to him, and I was like, oh, you know, I can't. He does talk. We should heed his advice. We got to the last boss room, and then he recited the line from Castlevania Symphony of the Night as well. And obviously, not many people in this room will get it, but his character was like, "What is a man? A miserable pile of secrets." And then my character's like, "Die, you monster!" and ran forward. And it was just, it makes no sense, but it was a line from a PS1 game when the voice acting was terrible. We managed to beat her, but 2 of us went down, and it was such a hard fight. But what he did amazingly in this short one-shot campaign was that he made us really, really hate the villain.
Oh man!
And we had the investment of a campaign in a 4-hour game.
It did. It felt like we had played 3 weeks worth of gaming in that short couple of hours, four hour time frame. Yeah,
we
it
were
was
utterly exhausted,
mental.
and it was so good.
Yeah.
And that's why it's my game of the con.
I think it would say it was mine as well. It's incredible.
And Connor's amazing with voices as well. I don't know. He feels like he's a.
Oh
he's
my
like
God,
an
yeah,
actor,
he was fantastic.
You know? He was
Well,
really, he is an actor. Okay. Yeah,
Well, there you go. It makes sense.
Yeah, he's good at it.
That's why. That's
He's
why
good at what he does.
Yeah, he was standing up, doing all the gestures. He was doing the voices. When he described something, you really felt like you were there. And the atmosphere from Castle Carmella, it was oozing out of him in quite a literal sense. I was having to take showers quite often.
I have got to mention one thing though, and it's probably single-handedly the most horrible thing I've ever encountered.
Oh, this
and
was
I have
disgusting.
never we love our horror games,
Yeah.
and and we've come across some pretty rank stuff over the years of gaming. But I've never seen anything quite disquieting than this. It was a piano, that had been made out of a human, but they had just literally been rearranged into a piano. We didn't know until we opened up the lid, and it was all still had all its organs. Its heart was still beating, the lungs.
yeah.
The keys were teeth. And when you played it, the person was still alive. So it's like,
That was
so bad.
It was almost like a funny image when you saw it. It's like, oh, this piano's made out of bones and skin. And we're like, oh yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
And then we open the lid, and then
And
the
it's
lungs
alive.
are still moving.
And there was like an eye in pure like panic.
Yeah, and it's like looking around like, help me, save me. And we're like,
And we're like, do we pull it out of its misery? We have to. We can't leave this thing here. And it was the most. Yeah, it was. I've never experienced anything like it. It was
Tell you what,
terrifying.
that is right up there on my. I
It
love
was
that
so
kind of stuff.
nasty,
That
man.
sounds
Yeah,
good.
and it was
Real
fantastic.
imagination,
Yeah,
that is.
really good.
that was when you lost your characters.
That's what
lost your
made
mind.
it. Yeah, he lost his mind after that.
But then, yeah, we put the piano. Well, we called it the piano.
P-Man.
We put it out of its misery.
Yeah.
Well done. You know, when you guys are telling me about this afterwards, because I was running Alien vs. Rednecks at the same time, I was so jealous because it sounded so amazing.
Honestly, I've got to be honest. It was fucking great.
Was.
But right, we're nearing the end. Well, we're sort of halfway through the games here. But James, tell us about Aliens versus Rednecks.
Well, Aliens vs. Rednecks was co-written by Harrison Hunt and Eric Lamoureux. And it's, well, the name says it all, pretty much. It's Aliens versus Rednecks. But the whole premise behind the adventure is that there is a disease has happened on the planet called Clark. And their government has found out that there is a cure that lives on Earth in a town called Jefferson and in one woman called Jenny something. And so basically you're a bunch of aliens who are not special because all the scientists and all of the military aliens on that planet have been wiped out from this plague. So you are just some random people that put your hand up and say, yes, we'll do it because we've been offered loads of money. You get sent to Earth in the town of Jefferson, and you just have to kidnap Jenny and bring her back because she has the cure. And it pretty much that is the literal. That's what you have to do. I had Richard Walcock and Steve Reed at my table. It was just those two. It was pretty awesome being able to DM for Richard. But you see, I haven't DM'd much. But even to this, I'm not sure why. But I just didn't. I planned nothing. I just turned up because I thought all the twists and complications that were written into it, I thought they worked so well, and I had already been a player in the game, so I thought, well, I have an advantage in that respect. So again, kind of like Nick, I did want to try and give a big load of freedom. So yeah, as they started, I just started throwing twists and complications at them, left, right and centre. When stuff wasn't really happening, I just like, all right, do notice, oh, there's someone coming towards you. And I managed to play a few of the NPCs that are inside the adventure that I had never played before or been up against. Like, we had Bart come into it, and I don't think we ever had Bart when we played it.
Isn't he like a lawnmower guy?
He always sits in his lawnmower, and they basically went into a shop and he was sitting there on his lawnmower. And he was also, previously been abducted by aliens, so he was like super suspicious of potential aliens. And he rolled such a high arcane
Background
like knowledge skill on alien conspiracies and notice that he managed to figure out that they were aliens. And then Richard had this skill.
But they got like dodgy man suits on then or something.
Yeah. They basically, it was like Superman putting on his glasses and being unrecognisable. It was literally that's how it's explained in it.
Yeah,
Cool.
there's a setting rule that basically, in this setting, even though they look like disgusting aliens, as soon as they put on like a plaid shirt, they don't see them as aliens.
Yep.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah.
So it's like Superman putting on glasses.
Exactly. Yeah.
So they were in there, and then Richard had this this special ability with PowerPoints where he can lick another a player, and it could turn them into a zombie. It can also resurrect people from the dead and stuff, because he was accidentally killed by a spanner being thrown at him, and they didn't want to alert anything. So Richard said, "Oh, it's fine, I've got this," and then he licks him.
No way.
But then he basically wakes up brain dead.
Yeah.
But it kind of works in their favour in so much as they get on the lawnmower and say, go in this direction to try and find Jenny at the beauty pageant.
Didn't he lick somebody at a funeral during your game?
Yeah, so like I said, there were certain areas and stuff that I'd never explored as a player before, and because this was kind of going so wild, I just thought, right, well, I'm going to put in this, and she's gone to a funeral home, so we've gone all the way to the funeral home, we're looking them up, and I just thought, right, yep, they're mourning in there, right, they're crying, they're wearing black cloaks, you don't know which one's Jenny, what are you going to do? And then they're looking, one of them's knocking and shouting out the window, I'm just like, right, they're all telling you to be quiet, and then Richard says, I've got this idea. He goes in, he goes, praise Jesus, like this, and he starts saying, I've been sent here by the Lord to save everyone. And then he just goes, don't worry, Bev's going to be fine. And this lady, Bev, died of a weird cheese curd accident. And he basically runs in, open casket, jumps on her and licks her. And with this power, resurrects her. But he rolled so highly that she actually retained her memory. So she wasn't brought back to life with the hindrances that meant they were like a brain dead idiot.
Right.
So she got alive, and then basically all hell broke loose. All the people, some people were screaming, running away. Panic was
Zombies!
Yeah, panic was gone. Some people were thanking him, saying thank you, you're sent from the Lord.
Yeah.
Jenny was running away, and then we did like a really cool pursuit and stuff.
Nice.
Did a dramatic task to catch up to her, and then they did this amazing thing, which was they managed to convince Jenny, because she had a hindrance of she'd follow a fairy tale life, so she'd leave Jefferson in a heartbeat. They managed to convince her and like talk to her and use and persuade and stuff that basically if she goes to their planet, they just told her the actual reason they were there and said, if you go to our planet, you'll be treated as a queen, as a princess, because you will save us, you will save our race, and you will be the best thing that's ever happened to us. And she was just well up for it. And so they explained to her where the ship was and basically said, if anything happens to them, then get to the ship. So it was almost like nothing could go wrong.
Okay.
They eventually got to the ship, pulled out the last twist and complication in the book, which is that the men in slacks, which is the government men in black kind of people, who are kind of crap, but they are like the biggest enemy in it for the aliens. They were just basically doing a chase scene in some aircraft, so the spaceship and the aircraft, and played that out as a dramatic task instead. And they actually won. They actually got back to their planet, and then they did an epilogue at the end, which was pretty fun.
Sounds fucking good.
And they saved their planet.
Yeah,
It sounded funny. When we was playing Camilla, I was hearing snippets of redneck and
like
impressions and stuff. And
crazy voices.
It did sound funny.
I heard one part where they used a pen on themselves.
Yeah, we actually had
funny you mentioned
I'll
that,
explain
yeah.
this in a sec.
Yeah, we
sorry.
had a message from Richard Woolcock about that. He says one of his favourite memories was in Aliens vs. Rednecks when we grappled the man in slacks. Then my alien gave the guy good probing. The poor man was so traumatised that he tried to erase his own memory with his neuralizer, but then he botched the roll and intensified the memory to crystal clarity.
Every
So he's now never ever going to forget it, and he's going to remember it forever.
That's really
And
clever.
that's how
really
they
good.
got out of that situation.
That's so awesome.
That's really good.
So,
yeah.
you think it went really well?
Well, those two seem to really enjoy it. I mean, like at the beginning, I felt it wasn't like really. I didn't, because I should have planned the beginning at least, right? Realistically, because I just thought, because the way we ran it, the way we ran it before, right? Or when we were players in it, we were told what was happening, and then we set off, and then we started, but they didn't. And I was just like, okay, so I just need to sort of give them a little hint.
Nudge in the right direction.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, other than that, I do feel like during it, and like I said, because of how well it was written, and like the twist and complications and all that, I found it really easy just to be like, throw this out here, throw this out there, and sort of explain what's going on. And because it is a comedy setting, and luckily the two players as well, they were really enjoying the comedy and everything I was putting out. So
I think it's very hard thing to get used to, because those settings, those sort of plug and play adventures that Justin Set Imagination do allow so much freedom.
Yeah, totally.
It's hard to get used to, where you go, this is the scene, do anything you like.
yeah,
And with that, it starts with the pageant, with the fucking float going through the street, and you're like, she's right there, go up and grab her if you want. The player's just so bewildered often that it's like,
no, not
well,
yet.
I can just go up and grab her and just take her to the ship, and you're like, yeah,
Go for it. Well, you can give it a try.
Try that.
Yeah.
Ryan, you played Savage Fallout, GM'd by Sean Hunt.
Yeah.
Went badly, didn't it?
Well, I don't remember a whole lot about it, to be completely honest, because the beers were flowing by.
Right, okay, well,
we know enough as players
but
and
it was
GMs
fun.
at other tables.
No, it sounded fucking awesome.
It was amazing.
From what I know is...
I remember laughing the whole time, but I don't know if that was the booze.
All I remember is... See, we talked about already that we've had one TPK in our weekly Fallout game.
Yep.
We're on the verge of another one because we've just got into a fight with ghouls, and this one ended in a TPK, right?
Yeah.
Well, in actual fact, the same adventure that you played, Ryan, we played at Pete Meet in February this year,
Oh, right.
and that was a TPK too.
Oh, so
I don't know what the
Maybe
fuck.
that's-
I don't know what the fuck is wrong with Sean, and what he needs to straighten out his fucking attitude.
Killer of PCs. Yeah.
Well, his last
killing us.
campaign, his last full campaign, ended on TPK as well.
He's
Well,
a
that's
serial.
cut.
He's a serial killer.
he's a serial killer.
He's
He's a mass murderer.
He's acting out his fantasies.
Yeah.
In a game.
Yeah.
But no, from what I understand, I'll keep this one brief, and then we'll move on to the day 2 games, and we'll probably have a little break. But, I mean, that means nothing to the actual people listening to the
they won't hear that.
podcast. But the point is,
It's a break for you, podcast.
yeah, you don't get a break.
You got to keep listening.
Fuck you.
It's going to be bleeding.
Anyway, my point is, it was a mission from 2 Megaton guards. One of you played Gary Busey, right?
No.
No, nobody picked him this
No
time.
one picked him because we couldn't do it justice because Gary Busey features in our weekly campaign.
Yeah.
And he's played
or
so
did.
well by Sean. We
fair
didn't feel
play.
like we
Fair
could,
play.
So,
do a good version of
yeah,
it.
apparently what happened was it's a mission for some guys from Megaton to go and get some medicine, and it's essentially like a dungeon crawl because you have to go through the sewers. Apparently you guys were driving a car, crashed it, and then when you got out you got munted by some ghouls.
Yeah, exactly what happened.
Right.
Yeah, we got. But yeah.
I mean
That's what I believe. Yeah, I
think that
remember
happened.
kind of happening. Yeah.
Don't worry, mate. When I went to Dragon Con, the last game I played, which was Tales from the Loop, was
Dragon
pretty hazy. Dragon Meat. Well, exactly. What
Yeah.
pretty hazy.
Yeah.
Pretty hazy.
During Dragon Meet, Nick started doing my character voice halfway through. Just nicked it. that was happening a couple of times during Castle Carmilla as well. Because it was the last game of that day, and Nick's voice, he was like, "Oh, I say," and then he was like, at some points, I was doing an Alan Rickman type voice, and he was like, "Shall we go through here?" And I'm like, "Nick, that's my voice." I know you've had a few beers, but calm down. Anyway,
But it was really short as well because we died quite quickly.
Yeah, I know,
So that was another problem.
Yeah, I looked over, the table was empty. I was like,
We were a little
they're
bit
packed
pissed. It was really short, so I don't remember a whole lot, but I rember it being funny and remember laughing a lot.
well, there you go. That's all you want.
Yeah. So,
So, yeah.
good time. Well done, Sean.
Well done, Sean.
And thanks for killing us again.
you murderer.
Got blood on his hands.
So then day 2 begun, and we'll get through these ones quickly because we're aware we're taking up a lot of your time, listeners. But we had some fucking great games here. James and I played in Saga of the Goblin
And Nick.
Horde.
And me, yep.
Oh, and Nick as well,
Yep.
yeah. Saga of the Goblin Horde, run by Richard Woolcock, the writer
yes.
of
Oh, yes.
Saga of
What
the
a
Goblin
treat.
Horde. And the cool thing was James had himself made into a goblin
Yep.
for this game.
Yeah, so Richard had sneakily got in contact with Harrison and Nick, I think, and they sort of gave sort of background about me, and then Richard amalgamated that into a Goblin War Drummer,
Yeah,
called
so-
Jammy Deep Throat.
Yeah, so he asked me for facts about James, and I said he's a drummer. He only ever eats chicken,
And he loves his hair.
And I told him, he said, give me a funny story about him. And I told him about a time where James was running when he was a kid, and he was so excited, and that he had his mouth open, and then a butterfly flew in, and James.
By mistake.
Yeah, and this game was amazing.
Oh.
It was 3 adventures, and the first one was
Yeah,
the
brand
whole,
new as well.
Yeah, brand new adventures just for this. It was the Whole of Glory, the Hand Job.
The Hand of Glory,
Oh yeah, the Hand of Glory,
and then the Morning Woods.
the Morning Woods, yeah,
Oh.
and there was it was just the writing was incredible. The puns were off the hook. It was ridiculous.
He completely played up to the fact that we all love toilet humour, and it was fantastic.
Yeah, and one of my favourite moments. So it was all about like getting back at this, the tribe leader of these goblins basically had tasked us with getting this wizard bloke basically, and sort of getting revenge on him. No, bringing him back. Well, it was getting revenge on him, and also bringing back this
An artifact.
the artifact, and then also bringing back this like really horrible hag that he had his eye on that he wanted to have sex with.
Yeah.
He wanted the horrible hag because he loved that, and also wanted to get artifacts so he could rule again the kingdom like properly.
Yeah, and this artifact belonged to this wizard that he didn't like, and it turned out the wizard turned himself into a lich and all of this stuff. But one of my favourite things is that this wizard had made 3 wishes because he'd met a genie.
These were fantastic.
Yeah, and the first one, I can't remember what it was, but he'd broken his legs.
Oh, the first one was he wanted the power of the gods, and then as a result got struck by lightning.
Yeah, and then the second one was that he'd wanted to be showered in gold, and he ended up wet and embarrassed.
Yeah.
And then the third one, we were running through the woods, and we suddenly encountered a 40-foot high rooster. He wished for a giant cock. It was fucking amazing.
Yeah.
And the whole thing ended in us having a tea party with the lich, getting him on side, and riding the massive rooster back to destroy the chief of our tribe, Chief Big Nose.
It just so happened to be in the game Harrison's dad.
Yeah, and I
He
was
played
like...
the brand new archetype that was commissioned for Saga.
Oh, the princess, wasn't
Yeah,
it?
Princess,
it was
yeah.
the new one, Amelia Bloodylocks, and she was fucking awesome and
So tough.
so tough.
Yeah.
And there was so many great moments, like just an amazing amount. But the apex of it was us making so many cock jokes. Just so many.
Loads.
And it was so funny because I was like, we need to ram this cock into my father. And then the lich was like, yes, and we should do it again and again. We should ram him over and over and over and over until he's sore and bloody.
And then I did a boost trait to the rooster as we're going along, and then Richard was just like, "Oh, this is a really hard cock."
Yeah,
Oh my God.
Yeah, because you boosted his vigour. So he was like, "This is a tough, hard cock now." Oh my God, it was hideous, and there were so many great moments. I mean, we used the shenanigans table, so there's this thing where you can get a Benny.
If you have 5 or less bennies as a player, then you get given a Benny, but then your minions get up to shenanigans.
You invoke shenanigan.
And they do something stupid. So one of mine pushed me down a hole.
Oh, yeah.
One of mine went off for private time, so I said that they basically went off to have a wank.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
There was loads and loads of stupid shit like this. And this game is fantastic. Saga of the Goblin
oh
Horde,
my
you know.
God.
Yeah, we go on about it so much, but
But it's
love
award
it.
winning.
Yeah.
You know.
Lucky that
Absolutely love
Richard
it.
run it. That's so cool.
It
It was a treat. It was an absolute treat. And, you know, to have Richard come down was one thing, but to actually have him run his game for us, I mean, you know.
Well,
you
he
can't
came
be-
all the way from Germany for this, and it was an absolute honour. And playing this game with him, I honestly was touched. It was amazing.
I was
much
absolutely just so excited because obviously during the character picking, I picked last and then saw me, and then I
Yeah.
was just like bowled over in excitement.
It's like a
joy.
kid at Christmas.
You should have seen James. He was like
He was proper fanboy, wasn't he?
No,
Oh,
James,
yeah.
James is a very, very loud person usually. And at the table, you know, he'd had a few beers, he's loud, he's brash, and then suddenly he sees his character and he's like,
Humbled.
This is me. Simple tear trickles down his cheek. Yeah, that's what it was like.
So humbled.
It was such an amazing time, and that game was amazing. And Richard comes in with a memory, and this is one of my favourite moments from the game as well. And he says, in Saga of the Goblin Horde, when Steve's Goblin PC wore that magical dress that made her look like a beautiful human woman, so that she could walk into the mansion. So this is where we're storming.
Because you had like an artifact card.
Yeah, exactly. And we were storming a human mansion, and it made him look like a human. But Pete's character was hiding underneath the dress, and it said, then Pete's character clambered out from under the dress and set off an explosive device right in the middle of the party.
Yeah.
And like a massive
Demolition
explosive-
kit, wasn't it? Yeah.
And it was funny because at the exact same time, Nick's character, who I basically bullied throughout the whole game, I just threw him through the back window, and he was on top of
like
the
a
wolf.
spear.
Yeah. and so we just absolutely destroyed this party. It was amazing. Like, what a game!
What a game. Yeah, it
And
was
we
fantastic.
basically played 3 adventures in one shot.
Oh, and they all tied in perfectly. And
Yeah.
I'm really so honoured that Richard did it for us. But he was also really happy because he said it was the first time he had ever ran it in English face to face.
Oh, yeah.
Because he's only ever done online
'Cause-
English ones.
Yeah, and he's a native English speaker, so he said it was quite refreshing as well, despite the fact he was very ill. Last up, we played, I ran Lankmar, and it was a self-made sort of open kind of adventure.
Yeah.
Called Bob the Slob and the Clobber Job. Now, the plot of this, is basically the Thieves Guild in Lankmar. So this is kind of the setting. It's a medieval thing where the Thieves Guild, who are kind of like the mafia, run the city, and
They are the power.
Yeah, and they give missions to people, and if you do a crime in the city, you better hope you have a Thieves Guild license, because otherwise they're coming after you. That's it.
Yep.
And this guy had gone to do a clobber job, essentially beat someone up and collect money from them, and he'd run off with the money. Now, the Thieves Guild, they don't want you to go and get the money, they want you to go and get Bob the Slob and take him back alive so they can torture him. Now, it's very simple. You go to the bar and you see Bob the Slob. You have to get him back alive. Simple. But as with Aliens vs. Rednecks, as with Punter to the Bonds, there are twists and complications. And there were many, many, many ones in this. For example, there was a point, in fact, this was when you guys fucked up. You did a navigation roll, ended up in a back alley where there was a dead end, and then got stormed by guards, had to fight them, things like this. And this guy, the whole point of the adventure really is that Bob the Slob is such a deplorable character that you want to hit him.
Yeah.
And that kept on happening throughout this. People kept on, like, somebody stabbed him in the knee at one point.
Yeah, we gave him a wound and then healed him.
Yeah. Teach him a lesson.
And this kept on happening. He was a deplorable character. At one point, he tried to run away across the rooftops, and as he was running, everyone on the ground was shouting insults at him, while Trina the mouse was chasing him across the rooftops, and he was chucking caltrops. At one point,
that bit really made me laugh as well, when he was like, "You've got a small dick," and he was like, "No, I ain't."
Yeah,
Carried on running.
They got him to the docks at one point. Well, essentially, somebody played an adventure card and made him admit everything. And he said, I do have the money. But Bob the Slob is so stupid that he hid it in the one place the Thieves Guild could never get it. In the ocean.
Yeah.
But also he couldn't retrieve it. So he's so fucking stupid that he did that. And all of the people at the table were like, right, well, we have to go and get the money. It was like so much money, it's unreal. It was like $1 million gold, basically. And so they go to the docks, they go and get a boat. They also notified the Thieves Guild of what they were doing, which is, I don't know, it's a bit of a silly move. So what happened was they go out to the ocean and they sort of they retrieved the gold, but when they did it, the Thieves Guild also knew about it, so they went and got a boat and sidled up to them. James's character managed to collect the gold by getting on an anchor, going down really quickly, absolutely aced all of his rolls, hooked it onto the anchor and then pulled the anchor back up.
It was probably the quickest dramatic task that we've ever played, because within 2 cards it was done.
Nice.
But we were also, as it was happening, explaining and rolling like super quick, because we knew it was coming towards the end of the session, and we wanted to just get it over and done with. And it was literally just for me, so we didn't want all the other players to be bored with it. So, but we smashed it instantly, just bang, 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 and it was done.
5 successes.
Yeah, I mean, the funny thing was right at the end, the Thieves Guild sidle up and go, we have to take that money off you, right? And then they just slaughtered all of the Thieves Guild members. one of them just then they created this big lie about how they tried their best. Bob the Slob killed all of them, and Bob the Slob, as he saw them turning up, he goes, yeah, I'm gonna go out of this planet how I lived, jumping into the ocean. And then he dived, tried to swim away, but obviously his leg was so fucked up from everything that happened to him.
Drowned?
Yeah, because he had to roll at such a penalty that, he drowned.
That was another thing as well, where they started getting really angry at him, because when he was trying to tell them where he dropped the gold, his directions were so bad they thought he was lying, but he was just stupid. So he was like, see that where that big blue wobbly thing meets the the other thing, and he's like, do you mean the sky? He's like, yeah, that's the one. And it's like, by big blue wobbly thing, do you mean the sea? It's like, yeah, that one. And it was like, they really hated him. And that's sort of the point of the adventure. It's like, you have to get him back, but you hate him so much you want to hurt him.
Constantly want to hurt him or kill him, yeah.
So it was really quite a fun adventure. And I feel like one of the things, maybe missteps that I made, was that when I create a puzzle like that, so for example, the gold at the bottom of the ocean, I don't like to build in a solution, and I feel like some players at the table might find that quite annoying. You guys are used to it, but there wasn't a solution there. No. I wanted you guys to come up with it, and maybe that didn't work as well as I thought it should have, but nonetheless, I really enjoyed the adventure. I thought it was great fun. I thought everyone played very well. But yeah, there wasn't a solution to that, and James, you came up with a cracking one.
It was my only sort of, because my character was basically a dumb mute brute, right? Because he previously a slave, had his tongue cut out, and he'd only actually previously interacted with one other player character at the table, and so our dynamic, and we were meant to kind of discuss it beforehand, but there was no need because it ended up being really natural. Everything I did was grunts and actions. And I was basically following orders from everyone, and I was just dumb, so I'd kind of, shout really loudly, grunt really loudly when you shouldn't, when really you shouldn't do and stuff. And I was kind of like an idiot in that respect. So I decided right at the end, I was like, I think I figured it out, but I'm gonna do it, even though it's a smart move. It's a dumb maneuver because I can literally just die by trying to do the anchor drop and fetching the gold. But it just paid off.
Yeah, and Richard comes in with one final memory, and he says one of his favourite things was in Bob the Slob and the Clobber Job when Magnus seduced those 7 women at the same time and went off to service them all and returned 8 minutes later.
Yeah, and that was at the same time as we were chasing after
He's a boy.
Bob the Slob.
Yeah.
We got him, and we were carting him towards the Thieves Guild.
Yeah, he had the amorous hindrance, and he played it, and
Perfectly.
he rolled so well. He had done all these women in 8 minutes.
Completely satisfied them.
Yep.
So sorry about that, quite hideous. But yeah, I really enjoyed it. I love Lankmar. Always love a chance to run it or play it, and I had a great time. If I ran it again, I might build in maybe an easier solution to that puzzle. But yeah, I had a great time anyway, and I thought everyone did a cracking job. So well done.
I really enjoyed the player chemistry at the table.
Yeah.
Although there was sort of moments of lull with specific players, overall, I think our dynamics and our chemistry was really awesome. We had a few people at the table that we'd never really met and only met at the convention. There was one brand new player that came for the Sunday only, and they really, really did well and enjoyed themselves and properly had fun.
Oh,
and
Darry,
wicked.
He was cracking, and there was there was a lot of really, really good chemistry. I thought it was fantastic, and there was one twist that I never got to use that was supposed to be in the bar. That all of Bob the Slob's ex-girlfriends turned up and have formed an anti-Bob coalition, and they tried to kill him. But I never got to use that one, sadly. Last of all was I just want to talk about the raffle, which was fucking amazing. Got sponsored by Just Insert Imagination. So
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much to those guys. We had 6 copies of Wise Guys demo kit to give away, and we had the 50 Fathoms book to give away. Did you see what was written in that, right?
Signed by Gary.
I didn't actually, no.
So, because Gary's quite, you know what he's like, he says quite inappropriate things.
I've heard about Gary, yeah.
So 50 Fathoms is a pirate setting, and he wrote in that, this book has more booty than a Weight Watchers convention. Also Wales, just saying.
Yeah. And the thing was, oh mate, I really wish I'm on it.
And he signed it at the Murder Hobo show, and so he said, so just look out for the Murder Hobo show. And obviously we've mentioned Just Insert Imagination a lot during this, with Aliens vs Rednecks, Punted in the Balance. Just check those guys out and check out the Murder Hobo show if you can. We had a lot of really cool prizes to give away as well. So yeah, thank you to everyone that came.
Yeah, and I want to thank Richard for signing my Saga of the Goblin Horde.
Yes.
I went a bit, fanboy on him, was like, do you mind signing this for me?
Yeah, you went and turned into a better child, didn't you?
Yeah.
He signed my card deck as well.
So, just in conclusion, I want to just say I'm extremely humbled by everyone that turned up.
Oh yeah, thank you so much.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Because, as I said on the post afterwards, it was nice seeing all my friends turn up, but I sort of expected that. But seeing all the people that turned up that I didn't know, and people that came from so far away,
Yeah, so people from Spain as well.
Southend, Germany, all, up north,
Norwich, yeah.
yeah, and it's just
Norfolk, sorry.
all of these people that came that I barely know that put in so much effort and did so much work to make this a fucking amazing convention. You really, really touched me, and I can't show you where.
Yeah.
So yeah, thank you
No,
so
but we
much.
are humbled, didn't we? It was amazing. Like I said, the atmosphere there was just like everyone knew each other. They were there to just have a good day of gaming. It was friendly, and it felt like that, and it felt really kind of personal in a really nice way.
Yeah.
Well, there was a lovely
Large
note.
group of lads.
There was a lovely few messages that were said afterwards by other people, which was great. But there's one that I really, really felt honoured to have written there. Was that Owen Lean said that he's been to a few conventions, but he said it was the best. Crazily, it was the best run convention he's ever ever GM'd at, because he always likes to GM at conventions, always.
Yeah.
And he said, yeah, but hands down, it was the best one he's ever done. And I was just like, whoa. Thank you so much.
No, totally. I mean, I think it's safe to say it was a roaring success, and we're eager and excited to do it again.
Definitely. It's a great day
We'll definitely be doing it again.
I'd just like to point something else out as well. There are other games that we haven't mentioned, but that's purely because the people here recording this podcast were not part of them.
Yeah,
but
and that's
there was free slots and free tables at day one, and then 2 slots and 2 tables.
And
at
everybody
day 2.
knocked it out of the park. Not a single bad game. You know, everybody was saying how great everybody's games were.
So smashed it. One thing I will say, somebody's taken my Savage Worlds core rulebook.
Where is it?
You're gonna fucking die. I understand me, but that's it, guys. Savage Con. Bear in mind, keep an eye out. Look for Savage Con, the UK's only Savage Worlds convention on Facebook, and like it, because we'll be doing it again next year.
We will be.
Yeah, we'll be doing it again.
And it might be sooner than you think, because as lovely as it was doing it in the height of summer, we might look to do it earlier next year for temperature
because
reasons.
that weather was fucked up.
unless we can find a venue that has aircon.
But stay tuned. Stay on the site. The site will keep active. We will keep doing the Savage Con Facebook, so we'll do regular updates.
All right, but shut up. Because
Enough.
We've got another thing next.
Yay!
In a land far beyond your imagining, adventure waits. And down beneath you will find things that you never dreamed of seeing. Goblins, orcs, treasures, mountains of gold. Will you be brave enough to delve deep and beat the final boss of the dungeon? This is Adventure Calls, available for $49.99.99. Available at all good retailers.
We know that prank calls are for idiots and for people with no sense of humour, and they're puerile and lame.
And that's exactly why
We're going to do one now.
Yeah.
Right, so listen up, guys. You know Genesis, the role-playing game.
Yes, I do.
A lot of people like it.
A lot of people
but
hate it.
It's not been selling quite as well as it should do. You know what I mean?
Right.
And that's just a really sad thing, I think.
Hello, Forbidden Planet London, how can I help?
Hey, Forbidden Planet London, my name's Jack Flash. I was wondering, do you have Dungeons and Dragons there in your role-playing section?
Were you looking for one specific book or one specific board game?
Just sort of the main core rulebook there.
Right, bear with me 1 sec, I'll just double check I've got some in stock at the moment. Bear with us.
Okay. Oh, cool, that's the Star Wars music.
Hiya, sorry to keep you. We have got the main 3 books in store at the moment.
Okay, well, I got a proposition for you. I say throw all of those books out. You know why? Because I'm a traveling salesman and I got a better proposition for you. Okay, it's a game called Genesis. Okay, what you gotta do in that game, you create your character, you roll some dice with weird fucking symbols all over them, and then you read them for 3 to 5 hours, and then you know if your character tripped over or if he carried on running away from the beasts or whatever. Does that sound like the sort of thing you want to stock on your shelves? I'll personally sign every copy too. I didn't write it or nothing, but I'll do that just for you. See, I'm overstocked. You gotta help me out here.
Unfortunately, I can't take any books pay or accept any orders over the phone, unfortunately. It's something that's run by our head office.
Oh, no. Well, you gotta help me out, though. Maybe you personally could buy like 5 copies or something. You see, what happened is I bought about 5,000 copies. You see, I thought it was gonna be the next big thing. I went all in. I got a garage stocked full of the fucking things. My wife, she's gonna leave me. We ain't had food for 3 weeks. They ate nothing but a potato in the last week. We went to the store. They had 1 can of beans. 1 can of beans. That's all I could afford. You understand me? So if you buy 1 copy of Genesis, that means my baby can eat this week. Otherwise, I have to chuck the damn thing in the river. Stupid baby. It's just 1 more mouth to feed. You understand? Goddamn Genesis.
Yeah, I can't buy anything. Okay.
I know, but you're gonna like it, madam. You can use it. It's like Star Wars, except not quite as good because it doesn't have lightsabers. I mean, that's a bad pitch, honestly. But if you buy it, you'll be helping a guy out.
Yeah, well, I'm afraid I can't. Not while I'm at work. Okay, then.
Okay, well, why don't you call me after work? Goddamn bitch.
Good morning, that's from McDonald's.
Hey, is this McDonald's?
Sorry, who's this?
This is Jack Flash. I'm gonna level with you, pal. I made some investments that didn't go particularly well, and I'm looking to trade books, Genesis books for McDonald's. I'm hungry. Okay, look, I'll trade you one copy of Genesis role-playing game call rulebook for a cheeseburger. You got a deal? It's a good game. You want a trick? Fuck's sake.
Hello, Magic Madhouse. How can I help?
Hello, I was just wondering, do you have any copies of Dungeons and Dragons?
All of our stock would be listed on the website, and that should all be accurate to our current numbers as well.
Ah, 'cause I saw on your website that you did have that in stock, and I just wanted to say, I'm gonna level with you. I'm a salesman, and I just wanted to say, throw all of those out, 'cause I got the next big thing. We got Genesis, the rulebook role-playing game, and this is just like Star Wars, except, it doesn't have lightsabers. And what you do is you roll a bunch of dice. Let's say, for instance, you want to kill a goblin. You roll the dice, you interpret them, all the weird symbols on them for about 3 to 5 weeks, and then what you do is after that you know if you hit it or not. Now, I know that doesn't sound exciting, but the stories that you get from this, oh my god, it's crazy. Would you like to buy 5,000 copies?
You'd need to email in any kind of request like that.
I don't at this current time have a computer. You see, what happened is I spent all my money on copies of Genesis, then my computer broke, and now I kind of let's call it Poopy Creek without a paddling paddle.
Okay, I don't believe it's something that we'd look into at this time, I'm afraid.
Well, you gotta help me out, buddy, 'cause my wife, she's gonna leave me if I don't sell these copies of Genesis. We ain't had anything to eat for weeks. Last week all I ate was a saltine.
Right, well, I'm afraid that there's nothing I'll be able to do to help you.
Well, maybe you personally could buy at least one copy of Genesis, and I could eat more than a can of beans this week.
Unfortunately not, no.
Maybe you could just meet me up and you could give me a hug. I'm awfully lonely also. My wife, she ain't give me no affection for months.
As soon as you get them sold, I'm sure she will.
Well, it ain't happening. Everyone was telling me Genesis is gonna be the next big thing. I look at my fucking garage full of all these copies, and I'm starting to think, actually, no, I don't believe them.
So, sorry, was there anything else I could help you with?
I got back problems.
Nothing I can do about that, I'm afraid.
Okay, well, goodbye.
Okay, you have a good weekend.
I won't. I definitely won't. Hello? Okay, he's gone.
Oh my god.
That's amazing.
They were sick.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's just hard times being a travelling Genesis salesman. I mean,
Clearly.
that game ain't selling well, guys.
No.
Fantasy
Oh, my
Flight,
God.
it's, if you buy a lot of those,
He put all his chips in one basket there.
put all of his chips in a Genesis basket, now he's going down. I mean, I feel sorry for those people out there. Jamie Pearson, if you're listening, I'm so sorry for your loss.
Takes 3 weeks to interpretate them, but
Anyone that's still playing Genesis, let me know. Actually, that's just Jamie, isn't it? Jamie, if you want a hug, come
come
down.
on over, mate. We got them for you.
All right, and now we're going to move on to the Chamber of Challenges, and we got some good shit in there for you guys.
Ooh.
Welcome to the Chamber of Challenges. Chamber of Challenges. The Chamber of Challenges. Chamber of Challenges. The Chamber of Challenges.
So this is the Chamber of Challenges, and this is where we do RPG-related challenges for one another. Nick.
Yes,
one
we
for
do.
us.
Yes, I've got a little challenge that I'm put together. This one is, well, I've got to admit the title's not that exciting, but it's RPG riddles. These are riddles that are taken from actual games over the years that people have used, and let's see how you fare up against them.
I like a riddle.
Ready?
Yeah.
Riddle me this.
Riddle number 1. Riddle me this. One tooth to bite the forest's foes, the same tooth to fight as all dwarfs know.
Fuck, are these going to be really hard?
Probably, yeah.
Give me that one again.
Yeah, say again.
One tooth to bite the forest's foe, the same tooth to fight as all dwarfs know.
One tooth to bite the
Forest's foes, the same tooth to bite.
The same tooth to fight as all dwarfs know.
Is it a dagger?
Close.
Sword.
Still close.
What?
What are dwarfs like?
Axe.
Yes, well done, Ryan.
Hey.
It's an axe. Well done, well done.
All right, Ryan, that's 1 point to Ryan. Remember that, because you get to take that home with you.
You get to take that point home. Put it in your pocket.
With
right?
the 100 quid you're paying me.
Right, next one. Yeah, we'll talk about
We'll
that.
negotiate at the
Yeah.
end. Okay.
Okay, next one. 6 arms, 6 legs, 3 heads, and a very short life.
So, 6 arms, 6 legs, 3 heads.
And a very short life.
That was stupid.
This one's tricky, to be fair. Very tricky.
Is it an adventuring party?
Oh, you're getting there. Right, so 6 arms, 6 legs, so...
Yeah, so
and 3
people.
heads. Yeah, well done. Yeah. And a very short life. You won't get... Do you know what? I'm going to give you this one because you are knocking on the door. That is 3 knights facing a dragon.
That's fucking
Jesus. Facing a dragon.
Nick, I'm going to beat you up. Because the facing the dragon part, I would have never got that.
No,
Yeah,
that
never.
is true.
Oh yeah, because a very short life, because he would have died. Yeah, but the dragon, that could be any high level
true,
monster.
True. All right.
Fuck you.
Sorry. Okay, next one. In the eyes, it causes blindness. In the nose, just a sneeze. Yet some suck this down and act as if pleased.
Come.
Beer.
No.
Poison.
No.
Blood.
In the eyes, it causes blindness. In the nose, just a sneeze.
Oh, a pepper.
Yet some suck this down and act as if pleased.
Smoke.
Yeah, well done.
That one's actually alright. I like that one.
Because he did the action of...
That helps a little bit. Little hint there. All right.
Yeah, I like that one because I got a point for it. Yes.
Okay. Right. Ready
yeah.
for the next one?
Yes.
I've little strength but mighty powers. I guard small hovels and great towers.
Wizard.
Nope.
Fuck.
But if perchance my master leaves, he must secure me to be at ease.
A door.
Close. What goes with a door?
Gate. A lock. Hinge.
Ooh,
Hinges.
more, a little bit more.
A big lock.
What goes in a lock?
Key. Yes.
Hey!
Okay. Pull with all your might.
Yes.
Only a whistle you'll gain. But almost out of sight, someone cries in pain.
Say again.
Is this a train mowing down a human?
Pull with all your... That's good. Pull with all your might. Only a whistle you'll gain.
A wank.
But almost out of sight, someone cries in pain.
What, does nobody else's penis whistle? I can't even think about this one. Can you give us?
All right.
Go on.
Is it close to what I said?
A train mowing down a human.
It's a bow and arrow.
Oh no, that's good.
Yeah.
That's...
So the last
I
one,
get it,
okay?
All right, last one. We really try with this one. I promise.
I get it now.
I promise.
What is it which builds things up, lays mountains low, dries up lakes and makes things grow, cares not a whim about your passing, and is like few other things because it's everlasting?
Mother Nature.
Nope.
Stone.
Nope.
I thought Mother Nature was pretty good.
That is... Yeah, it's good. It's close, but it's not right.
The sun.
Time.
Well done.
You gave it to him. You gave it to him.
Literally just pointed at his watch.
He pointed at his watch.
I was giving the guest
Thanks, Nick.
a little bonus.
Yeah.
Well
Okay,
done.
so Ryan wins that one.
2
But we
points on
don't-
100 quid from me.
You don't get any money.
Hey, get the money.
He wins it, but we don't know any points anyone got.
No, but you can keep them ones that you earn. You can take them points home.
You can take
Thanks,
points
Nick.
home. Give them to your
Give
wife.
one to your wife. Yeah,
Pay
I was
your
gonna
bills
say.
with those points.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
Yeah, that's very good, Nick.
Well done, Nick.
That was awesome, Nick.
That was really good.
Cheers, bruv.
It's actually an intellectual one. And sorry we took it down a peg, but talking about wank. Next up, I got one. Stop looking at my answers on my phone. Right, so I've got Dragon or Blagging, Savage Con.
Ooh.
Right, so this is sort of like you've got to pick out the bullshit in some answers and things like this. So it's just a little quiz about Savage Con. So, Savage Con Day 1 was hosted at the Toby Carvery, a fast food roast beef restaurant. Many people took advantage of the food available, but which one of these is true? I saw one of our group eat some butter thinking it was cheese. Somebody ate a plate of just beef with a jug of mustard on the side, then was sick twice. Someone took all of the free biscuits that came with the conference room and is still making their way through them. Or D, somebody drank a pint glass filled with coffee.
C's correct.
Oh, you know it.
No, I just...
Because you nicked all the biscuit.
No, it weren't me. I know who it
who
was.
nicked the biscuits.
I know who it was.
Okay, so, James, you are correct. Somebody took all of the free biscuits that came with the conference room and is still making their way through them. That was Peter Beckett.
Do you know, I was on the table
Little
when he took it.
biscotti
He's like,
monster.
don't eat too many because that'd be my breakfast tomorrow. And he just pushed them all into his pack.
You're joking?
Oh my god.
A man cannot live on biscuits alone.
It is his breakfast the next day.
Wow, he's probably eating them on holiday. I bet he took them on holiday with him.
Yeah, because he's now in Greece.
He's sitting by the pool eating biscuits.
Yeah, his entire suitcase is probably full of little biscuits. Alright, so James, I don't think you can answer this next one, but in Connor's game, Punk Rock, James's character, being a James character, said many outrageous things. Which of these was a real quote from his character, the band's drummer? And I'm fairly certain I'm going to have to bleep some of this.
Okay.
I love old people, but I've never eaten a whole one, followed by a tongue movement. You got to... This one's horrible. You got to finger the bass like you finger the... Only joking, not really joking. Vampires are disgusting, but not as bad as all that scat porn I have under my bed. Or D, is it just me, or did it get a bit cuntier in here?
I'm going D.
I'm going to go B.
Okay, so you're both wrong. Oh, no, Ryan, you are right.
Oh.
It was.
Finger
It
the
sounds like
bass.
so outrageous.
No, because if
that
you
would say
remember our song about the pedogeist,
Yeah.
Oh, yes,
Yeah.
yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
right,
and
that
then,
was from that, yeah.
and then we were talking to our manager, who was Harrison, and then we were just telling him how to do it.
Yeah, because I had to play the bass for our last gig, and he was saying, you got to finger the bass like you finger the... Yeah. Anyway, it was pretty horrible. All right,
That's horrendous.
next question. Oh, no. We've
Bleep that.
No, it worked. It worked in the game.
It was
That
in character, it's
It
fine.
was pure comedy just for game, like
Yeah,
proper dark,
obviously.
ridiculous.
Anyway, next question, right? True or false? I'm not going to name any names, but I saw someone trying to steal prizes from the raffle. When I confronted them outside the front of the venue with the prize, they were running and I yelled, "Oi, oh shit." Who? No, don't worry. It wasn't... I'm going to bleep name, but I've said it again. And they stopped running and said they were a drug addict and they were trying to sell the copy of Wise Guys to score their next hit.
Fair enough.
False.
What's your answer?
False.
True. I mean false.
False, probably.
Okay, yeah, that was false. He's not a drug addict, I want to say that.
Or a thief.
Or a thief. Yeah, that's false, you're all right. Okay, next one. When I meet new people, I often get nervous. I often stumble over words. When Darry, a guy that only came to day 2, asked if I had spaces in my Lankmar game, what did I say to him? Is it A, please, Savage, welcome? B, spaces, loads, play please? C, hi, nice to meet you, Lankmar. Accidentally saying Lankmar instead of my own name. Or D, yes, of play, course, places.
I hope it's C.
I think it's C.
I'll say D.
Hi, Lankmar.
Hi, I'm Lankmar.
Nick and Ryan, you are correct.
Yeah!
I accidentally said Lankmar instead of my own name.
You helmet. Oh, brilliant.
And the final question, right at the end of the con, I was outside talking to Connor and he suggested we run a con next year consisting of an entirely different flavour. What did he suggest? Was it A, Hentai Con, a con revolving only around sex games? B, Obscure Con, where people find the strangest games they can and run them? Or C, Trad Con, revolving around only traditional RPGs? Or D, Unplayable Con, revolving around games that are literally unplayable?
I'm going to go B.
D.
Yeah, I was going to say B as well.
James is correct, it was Unplayable Con.
How infuriating would that be?
Yeah, he suggested Fatal, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and other such games.
Oh my
yeah,
God.
So,
And ERPG, erotic roleplay.
yeah, erotic roleplay. So yeah, that was it. I mean, I think you guys did very well. You got some points.
Some points, yeah.
Don't know who.
Points.
Gonna eat mine later.
So I enjoyed them.
And that's it for Chamber of Challenges.
In the future, you will be able to send a letter from anywhere on the planet. This is the future. This is the Electro Letter.
Alright, so this is the final segment, guys. This is Electro Letters, where we read your mail from around the world. And we read them. That's
We
it.
read
really.
them, yeah,
There's
exactly.
nothing more to it than that. So first question.
Owen Lean.
Yeah, Owen Lean comes in. He says, if your pets were D&D characters, what class would they be? This is kind of boring for anyone listening, so we'll get this out of the way really quickly. Nick, your cats?
Probably fucking thief. Yeah.
Right, might be thieves. Right, moving on.
Daniel Owen, he says, hey Twats, question for your next show. Given that Amazon have just commissioned a new series based on Tales from the Loop,
Fuck off.
what?
Have they?
What?
Did you not
if-
know that?
No, neither did I. Wow. Thanks,
Wow, sorry,
thanks, Dan.
sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
All right, well done for interrupting.
He said, what, if any, settings or campaign you've seen or run do you think would be a good fit for the small or big screen?
Our GURPS campaign, I think, would be cracking.
So specifically my setting. I don't think Netflix are going to pick that up anytime soon.
No, maybe Adult
They
Swing.
come knocking, they're like-
Adult Swing would, no?
Yeah, I've heard that Tabletop Twats programme, and I think you've got some sick ideas.
Tell me more about the jelly.
I'd say fucking a Saga of the Goblin Horde.
Oh my god, that would be good.
That would
Yeah.
be like extreme. If it was
Like
based
an
on
animation or something.
Yeah, no, if it was just based on sort of campaigns that have been run and shit,
God,
and
yeah.
all the crazy stuff.
Yeah.
that'd be so much fun.
Because that could go either way. It could be either really sick and adult or a kids programme.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
I'm going to go... I was going to say Cyberpunk, but there's been enough Cyberpunk programmes out there, so I'm going to probably echo James's idea. I think that was a good one. That's knocked me for 6. Ryan, how about you?
Yeah, what was the Pathfinder one where we had like Cutie Ratface and all that?
That was Pathfinder.
Yes, well that.
So what was that Pathfinder
I think I make
game?
a nice
Pathfinder the
episode.
movie. Oh,
yeah,
Pathfinder
yeah.
the series.
Yeah, the series.
Yeah, because Pathfinder made a series of comics that was really good. And that would translate well to a
Yeah,
TV series.
there you go.
Yeah,
Yeah, because it's super fantasy and stuff. Everyone loves that.
yeah.
Next thing comes Sean Hunt. Any good series you guys are watching at the moment? I'm watching Final Space. It's fun, lowbrow sci-fi. Ryan?
Yeah, I was just about to say that because we was. Yeah,
You're watching that as well,
I'm
aren't you?
watching it
Yeah.
at the moment, and it's absolutely banging. Yeah, really good. Final Space. If you get a chance to watch it, it's on Netflix.
So what is that all about?
It's kind of like Rick and Morty meets Futurama,
Oh, okay.
but it's got like some really epic-y sort of sci-fi action scenes, but it's really well balanced with the humour as well.
Yeah. Nice.
It actually does remind me of a campaign.
Yeah.
Like
Okay.
the way it's written and the way it's shot and stuff, and yeah, it's super funny as well. The comic timing is brilliant. So if you get a chance to see it,
Check it out.
and David Tennant provides the voice of the bad guy.
Oh, brilliant.
Oh, wicked.
So, yeah, that's
I'm
pretty
well
cool.
up for that.
Yeah, I'll check that out.
I've been watching Love Island.
Oh, God.
All right.
Fuck's
Next.
sake.
I'm deep into Love Island, mate.
wow.
Stop cringing, everyone.
Where's your head at? Is that what they say to each other all the time?
Oh, all the time.
Yeah,
And I'm gonna start grafting on her.
Grafted, baby.
I've been grafting on her well hard, mate, and she's not giving me anything back. I don't know where her head's at. So this is a program where it's a reality program where a bunch of people get
Very shallow people.
Shallow
Hideous
people get
show.
put onto an island and they have to couple up and see who falls in love. And my girlfriend calls it Fuck Island because it's not about love at all.
No.
James.
I'm watching Asabai Asabasi, which is a new anime series which is airing on Crunchyroll at the minute. It's kind of like if anyone's seen or read it as a manga daya, but the sort of comedy in it, super slapstick and over the top, and I think it's absolutely hilarious. I have already suggested this to Sean, but
And me.
for everyone else, yeah, it's fucking. I think it's great. I haven't laughed out loud to an anime this much in ages, so it's great.
Nick, what are you watching? You been
yeah,
on Love Island?
No, afraid not. I'm not a Love Island fan. I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out Here or Nothing. Me and the wife just started watching Castle Rock, which is cracking. It is a new series that has been produced by Stephen King and J.J. Abrams, and it is basically we don't know too much about it, but it's a twisted story set in Castle Rock, which is a fictional town in the King universe, and it seems like all the things that happen in the King books exist in this world. So there's nods to all different things in King books.
How many episodes is it in?
3 so far.
3 already?
Yeah, so one of the lead characters is the kid that plays It in the new It remake.
Okay.
And there's Sheriff Pangborn's in there, and there's a nod to Cujo. It's very good. Shawshank's in it. It's so far so good. It's cracking.
And he's tipped his hat to it as well, Stephen King, isn't
He's
he?
produced it,
Yeah,
mate, with J.J. Abrams, so they're executive producers on it. So
So when you talk about Castle Rock, I imagine like Ozzy Osbourne, Iggy Pop, Motorhead, all staying in one castle. Is it that?
Sharon! Yeah. It's kind of, it's not giving too much away at the moment, but it's typical King, you know what I mean? It's a twisty turny kind of build up the kind of, what the fuck is all this about kind of thing. But yeah, so far so good. Check it out. It's
So
very good.
Stephen King is the king of the castle.
Well, he is, isn't he? I love Stephen King. Yep, so that's what I'm watching.
Alright, sweet. And Nick?
Next in, we've got Terry Hansen, and he says, I want your opinion on player metagaming. Is it inevitable? Can it be used as a potential tool by a player that can enhance role-playing? Should it be rewarded if the player can actually advance the story by being a dirty metagamer? Thank you.
I don't really like it in really any form. Although, can you think of a good example?
I don't get it that well.
Yeah.
Is it like when, like, say for argument's sake, we're playing Fallout and we're like, oh, but that does that. I know what that is in the game, so I'm going to use that knowledge.
Using out-of-game knowledge.
Okay.
But for example, our characters that we're playing at the moment would know some bits, but you got to play it like I'm a D4 smarts guy. So while I know what a ghoul is, I wouldn't know what a ghoul does or how to fight it, really.
Yeah,
you know
no,
I mean?
I don't like it. No.
So you
play your character.
Yeah, metagaming is using out-of-game knowledge.
Nah.
Or things like this.
Or building your character to do well.
Yeah, that's more min-maxing, but that's a type of it. Yeah.
That's the same kind of thing. No, I don't like it.
I used to be quite bad at it at the beginning of my career.
Fair enough.
But that was just because I was just like, yeah, but I'll play it. Because, I was playing it from the perspective of playing a video game kind of thing. I'm just like, yeah, well, if I know that, then I'm going to try this manoeuvre. But it's just like,
yeah, fair enough. I suppose it's how you kind of just, like, get into it as well. Like when me and Ryke obviously joined up with you guys for your second round of gaming properly, I think it was very much we got that the role-playing part was big and we kind of grasped that, and then that became our favourite aspect of the game. So, but to be honest, I don't think we have it much in our game.
No, I don't. I think
there's only
pretty squashed out. Yeah.
I think there's only one place where it helped. I'm not going to say names, and it was just at the con. There was someone who was just reminding us of certain plays that you could use in Savage Worlds.
Yeah, but then I would argue that sometimes that person is handy. But then, but I would argue that when you slow down everything to get into tedious rules discussion, it's boring.
Yeah,
and all I would say is that ultimately, what you should do at any time is just say your players should just say what your character does, because you're role playing your character.
Mm-hmm.
If you say this, okay, my character runs in, tries to trip him up. Okay, and then your DM would say that's an agility trick. You don't need to be that player at that table that's constantly like, rules, because that is just boring. Just roleplay what your character does. At the end of the day, don't metagame. It only ever destroys immersion.
Yeah, totally.
And it's not all about winning. Like, that's
you don't win an RPG, mate. That's the thing,
win the game. I guess that's what the meta guys get.
Yeah, and sometimes
get tied up into. But sometimes it's good to fuck about and actually die and helps the story and moves it along sometimes and creates a funny situation.
Yeah, and it was like losing in Fallout recently, where all of our characters died, and we created a prologue for our current characters. That was actually amazing.
Yeah.
And it made for a better story. Sometimes losing in an amusing way can be better than winning.
Open to new opportunity.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, definitely, mate.
Where possible, never do it, because I don't think it ever helps. I mean, if you're at a game and you're looking up stuff in the book or looking up stuff in Wikipedia, it's like how Gary always said. He had this thing where he always had players looking up the monsters they were fighting in the monster manual to see what they can do. It's like, well, your player would never know that.
Yeah.
So why are you looking up stuff on the Pathfinder Wikipedia or the Call of Cthulhu Wikipedia when you're playing it?
Yeah.
How would you know that? How would you certainly find that out?
And I don't think we've ever done it, and we ever will. But if you're playing a game where it's more of a puzzle, right? So therefore, you will allow the player to literally get all the information and then try their best, right, with all the knowledge that their actual character won't have. Then sure, but I don't think we'll ever play that. It's not like looking up the monster and seeing what you can do. But if it's like you're really weak, so with all the knowledge it will just assist you. Then but I don't think it will ever come into play with our group ever.
No, and I'm really glad for that.
Yeah.
Next question comes in from Owen Lean. Who in the games industry would you most like to slap in the face so hard their teeth literally get embedded in the opposite wall? Now, I wouldn't like to do it that hard, so let's just put it this way. Oh, fuck. Very good. You know, Owen Lean did actually put a little addendum to this, and it said, besides me, of course. so that's good. We're all going to say we'd like to give Owen a little tap on the face.
A little tap on the face.
Just, no, a friendly one. So, no, we're going to say, who would you like to slap? We don't want to kill them, we just want to slap them. And I've got a good answer for this. Daniel Ducker. Right, this guy's not technically in the games industry, but he's got such an annoying presence that he's been noticed by the games industry.
He's a wind-up merchant.
I don't know if he is though. See this? Okay, let me describe this guy to you, Facebook listeners, because this guy is on Facebook constantly. Right, he's on the official Savage Worlds Facebook, Ryan, and he he comes out with these posts that he's a lunatic, right? He plays Savage Worlds and he says, I don't use edges, I don't use hindrances, I don't use pace, charisma, toughness, I don't use any of this
I don't use story.
I don't use anything.
I don't use skills.
All I use
I don't
is-
use dice.
No, he does use skills and attributes. That's
I'm
it.
just-
And he
I'm
only
joking.
ever rolls those two things, and he rules out pretty much everything else to the point where it's unrecognisable as Savage Worlds, and it's just a pamphlet. And he says, "You know what I love about Savage Worlds?" And it's like, "What? What do you love about Savage
Cut everything out of it.
You
Worlds?"
love
You're a madman.
killing it.
And then he comes onto the Facebook constantly, and he says these outrageously stupid things.
Who plays with this guy? Does he play
Don't
by
know.
himself?
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
well, yeah, exactly. And he plays with his mates. And then he the other day he comes on there and he goes, he said, I was in a 5th edition game last night, D&D, and he goes, and somebody rolled to hit and they rolled really high and then rolled 1 damage. And I said, if you're playing Savage Worlds, high accuracy means high damage. And well, no, you're wrong, because if you rolled high accuracy, you get an extra d6 damage, and that means a minimum of 3. So you're wrong. So that means that it means at
It's
least
bigger probability.
Yeah, it just
That's
means
it.
it means at least 3 damage. I mean, so you're wrong. And he constantly does these posts that get everyone in the comments completely pissed off.
So many people.
Yeah, and then even like Shane Hensley, the writer of Savage Worlds, noticed these posts and he commented saying, "I don't think this game is for you." And the right guy who made
When the guy who created the game says,
actively doesn't want you to buy his product.
"Go play something else."
Yeah, it's like fuck. This guy's he's a nutter.
He's an absolute nutter. Yeah. he
Everything,
is.
and then he posted the other day that he had an idea for a setting and wanted all the community to write it for him. And I was just like, "You are a fucking idiot." He's a nutter.
He is a nutter.
His name's Ducker.
Yeah, Daniel Ducker. Keep
Check
an
him
eye
out.
out for him because he's insane.
His
And
profile
you'll-
picture's like
The
that.
Fucker Ducker.
You'll often see, yeah, Daniel Fucker. You'll often see me commenting on his posts, and I get incensed. I'm just like, I just want to, and it's
Maybe it's just a wind-up.
He might be a troll, but I don't know because he's
He
still
might be-
doing it. He's a very dedicated troll if he is.
Yeah, and you see his profile picture as well, and I'm not saying, oh, you're ugly or anything like this, but his profile picture, he's got this shit-eating grin, like he knows what he's doing. Like, he's just like,
Smug.
He's like, I'm winding you up.
Yeah, it's almost like
My God,
exactly.
yeah, Daniel Ducker all the way. And he's a current one as well. So yeah, that's him. That's my answer.
Cool. I got an answer.
Go.
Byron Hall,
Yeah, good answer.
writer of Fatal.
Yeah.
He's fucking mad. And I see all of his friends.
Is he still alive?
I don't know. Hopefully not.
James.
I can't say that. No, I'm joking.
Joking, of
No
course.
dibs.
No. Him and all of his play testers and the people that surrounded him and told him to continue. Because there was the massive list of people that helped out with playtesting it. So there's people who had to sift through all the rules, make sure that the anal circumference was correct.
Yeah, because Fatal was one of the worst,
So
most
you'd like to-
disgusting games of all time.
Yeah, and so you not so much the writer. You think that the slap's more deserving to the people that actually egged him on and made it become
but-
something.
yeah, but
they're
him-
almost
him
more
too.
to blame, aren't they? Really, let's be honest.
No. He. I think he's the kind of person that it would have come out anyway.
Fair enough.
Because he expressed some pretty disgusting views in that.
Yeah.
I think that it as well.
He's very arrogant.
Yeah,
Oh, dear.
yeah. You remember at the end of the book where he thanked himself?
Oh
It's got
my
that-
God.
Yeah,
thanks
exactly.
Me.
Yeah, I don't thank myself for being a lunatic.
Yeah. So Nick, how about you?
Okay, well, I'd like to slap a publishing company if I could.
Yeah, go on.
You just go up to a building and
Yeah,
slap
just
it.
slap the side of it.
Ow, my hand.
I'm going to slap. I think it's Catalyst Games that make Shadowrun.
Yeah.
Do you know why? Because they don't get me wrong, the product's amazing, but for the price you pay, I've seen so many comments about how badly put together their stuff is and how long
fall
it
apart.
doesn't last.
Yep.
Yeah.
You pay £50 for a book that falls apart. No.
2 weeks, yeah.
And for something that's been going as long as Shadowrun and it's so big in the established
You would have thought they'd put that
in the
extra money
hobby,
in.
It's
you
the,
think, what are you doing?
It's the third biggest game in the industry at the moment.
But there you go. And to be able to
cheaping out
churn out cheap shit
quality.
that falls apart and at such an extortionate price, I think they deserve a slap because they've been in the game long enough. They know what they're doing, and they can do better than that.
So take that, John Shadowrun.
Yeah,
And Ryan, how about you? I mean, you're not that big on your industry knowledge, but
No,
just
not
pick
at all.
someone at random.
Yeah.
Well, that definitely would be you, mate.
There you go.
We're not
Oh, because
allowed
I'm
to
the
say
only industry person
that.
you know.
I know, yeah. You're the only person that's been involved.
So by default, I'm getting a slap.
yeah.
All right,
That's
then.
it.
There you go.
All right.
Alright. Manuel Sams comes in next and says, "How was the whiskey and liquor?"
I don't know what he's talking about.
Well, he sent James and I a bottle because he was supposed to be staying with us when he
Yeah.
came down to visit SavageCon. Sadly,
gonna
couldn't
stay at
make
mine.
it. He sent me some liqueur. all I'm going to say is this, Manuel. Ask the empty bottle that's in my recycling.
Yes,
go on.
and
Nice.
I've been super unwell since. I'm still getting over my illness. So as of yet, it's unopened, but I cannot wait.
You know what? At SavageCon, obviously, there's never a better time to get munted than during a convention. And obviously, I got munted. I didn't drink the whole bottle by myself. I shared it with Morgan, and me and him had a good time.
Oh yeah, you're talking about the aftermath.
Yeah.
No, but thank you very much, Manuel. I'm really, really thankful.
Yeah, I'm ready. No, wait.
You didn't get one. He wasn't
Oh, yeah,
staying at
that's
your house.
You didn't ask.
Why would he want to stay at your house?
That's true.
It's really far away.
You live in a bin.
Yeah,
That's true. It's a nice bin, though.
Yeah, it's a nice bit.
it's nice bin. It's got a roof that you can take off.
Little record player in there.
Okay, so next question comes in from Owen Lean. Nick, you want to read this one?
Yeah, I shall read this one. Owen Lean comes in with another one, and he says, which human being would you most want to lock in a bunker and force to play Fatal and read The Void? Considus awakens for the next 20 years.
So this is essentially the worst RPG and the worst book, and they have to be in a bunker. So this can be anyone. It doesn't have to be an RPG person. However, I'm going to pick an RPG person.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going Sean Patrick Fannon on your ass. He's going in the bunker.
You're putting him in the bunker?
He's
Yeah, but
going
he'd
in the
enjoy
funky
it.
bunker.
Oh,
You'd enjoy it.
Oh, Sean Patrick Fannon would like Fatal, wouldn't he? Oh no.
yeah.
Well, he's in there.
He's in there
to be
anyway.
fair, I don't think he'd enjoy being in a bunker for 20 years. That's the
There's
problem.
no
because
kids in there, is there?
Wow, Ryan! It's fine. That's the guest who's not
You don't
mine.
even know who that is.
I don't know who he is.
Fucking...
Are you playing kids or something then? Isn't he a kiddly fiddler? He's on the register, isn't he?
So what do you guys think happened?
One of the players Robbie played with got carried away and killed him.
Well, that's kind of far out.
Mazes and Monsters is a far-out game. Swords, poison, spells, battles, maiming, killing.
Hey, it's all imagination.
Is it?
Yes, definitely.
I'll be talking to you.
All right, see you later.
Alright, so that's it for another show. If you want to get in contact with us, you can do so. Nick?
Send us an email, tabletoptwats@gmail.com.
Or you can get in contact with us on Twitter, which is Ryan.
At twitter.com.
Shit.
Close.
At tabletop
Tabletop
twats.
twats at twitter.com. I don't know it.
Well,
I don't know it.
why have you done your fucking homework?
Come on, mate.
You speak to my agent, you book me.
Okay, it's at... shut up. It's at Tabletop Twats. James?
Right, Facebook is /tabletop T.
And of course, if you like what we do, which God help you,
Why would you?
You know, chuck us a buck on Patreon. Sean
Sling us a
Patrick
buck.
Fannon, give us some money. And that's about it for another show. Of course, when you're not watching this show, you know, your life, it doesn't move on. It doesn't move on because what else out is there in the world? We looked out there earlier. It's a fucking wasteland. So I'm going to give you a thought for the week to keep you going until we release another episode. And that is, if you put a slinky onto an escalator, will it go forever? But that leaves one last thing to be said, and that is this. The other day I was in a bunker and I was reading Fatal, and I was also having a look at The Void, Considus Awakening, and I actually realised there's a hidden message in both of those things. If you take the first letter of each page and the second word in every paragraph and you put them all together, right, and then you throw that in the bin because that don't mean nothing, and then you go to a Buddhist monk and you ask him for one piece of sage advice, he will give you thus.
Chicken McBar.
Thank you, everyone. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Bye.